about it. The first time I ever mentioned flat Earth was in 2015 to a friend, which I lost, and that's why I kept my mouth shut. So it's only recent that I got back into it. So yeah, but now that I can, it's different now that I know the Earth is flat.
Do you think, given the outcome of mentioning it to a friend, do you think that will deter you from talking about flat Earth with other people
Never
in the
again.
future?
Not again, not after this morning, because I know it is. So you can't tell me I'm wrong if I know I'm right. Previously, I just believed it because what I was told or what I found out. So now that I went and did it myself, I went and spent the money. I fucking bought this camera to prove this shit to myself. And now that I know that it is, it's easier for me, to be honest. And I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. I'll try to convince you or I'll try help you. But if you're not going to listen, it's only so much that I can do.
Amen, brother. Good job.
So what's your
hypothesis?
What do you mean? Like, why do I not see a curvature? Because I used the Earth curvature calculator and I shouldn't have seen what I saw?
Because there's not one there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So this spirit of like social engineering of people shunning people, like I can understand if personally you don't want to like deal with that in real life. A lot of people don't, but those who can, I think it's good that they do, because it helps fight it helps fight that stigma. The more that are aware of it, the less that'll happen.
It's just easier for me to argue something that I have done myself, if you know what I mean. So I can at least bring up that argument where I can say, listen, explain to me why I can go to Eiserfontein and see the docks of the V&A waterfront. If they cannot explain that, I'll say, well, then you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, because I have done it. Where previously, before I did all this, I always used to say, check this YouTube video, check that. And they'll be like, dude, it's doctored. It's nonsense. It's crap. Do you know that person? I can personally say it to myself. Like, dude, I've done it. And I'm shivering as I'm saying this because it's so fucking amazing. It's scary and everything at once. It's really, really cool. But yeah.
Just wanted to say hello, Karma. How are you?
Hey, I'm okay.
I haven't seen you in a minute, girl.
Yeah, real life got me busy.
Well, we are so glad to have you back. I see a assume a Glober. Mild Cheddar is in the building. Hello, Mild Cheddar.
Hey.
Are you feeling sharp today? Hee hee. It was a joke. Like sharp cheddar.
Yeah.
I'm so cheesy. Sorry. What brings you here today?
It ain't easy being cheesy.
What brings you here today?
I wanted to say I did appreciate that. Thank you for that.
For now.
What was that? Say that
Just
one more
listening for now.
You're just listening for now? Okay. No worries. If you have any questions, just let us know.
Quaker Oats checked in, but she said she's sitting down to the dinner table. So, but we'd love to have you, Quaker Oats, if you can make it. That'd be cool.
Oh, Bambi's in the building. Hello, Bambi.
Hey.
How's it going?
I'm not dead yet, so it's going good.
Always good to hear you in here, Bambi.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
You wet?
Keeping it flat.
Not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
They opened up the club, so I might have to be dead in a month.
I see. That's a kind of happy death.
Yes.
Hey, Karma.
Hey there. Missed you.
I know, I missed you too. I've missed everyone. It's been a while.
Oh my god, Race just told me we still have your Christmas presents. And see, I just realized he's right. We still have them. We haven't shipped them out.
It's 6 months till next Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, we lost the car, 2 grandmas got sick, and mom in ambulance, and all kinds of shit. But it'll get there eventually. I swear to God.
It's the thought. Like, the thought is there. You've made this massive effort. I love it.
To be fair, I have been adding to the bag where we put the gifts in, so the longer it's here, it's gonna be more stuff. So, I mean, you get, like, interest.
That's like, yeah, I like that, but it'll be cheaper in the long run too, like to have one big shipment rather than like loads of them.
Right?
Yeah, so this was all tactical.
Yeah, this is totally meant to happen.
Hey guys, can I ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta head off here soon, but I'm curious. So I have the Dave Weiss's app, the clock app. But is there any other kind of interactive model of flat Earth that you could like show somebody who is very skeptical, wants to see scales, distances, all that kind of stuff?
Sorry, I was muted. There's no model per se, but there's loads of bits and bobs that you can get. The best advice that I can give you is go to the bottom of the Discord. There's an A to Z. Anything a skeptical person wants to know, the answer will be in there.
I know. I love those. Are great channels. It's cool to see you guys have all those. I know. I guess that.
Yeah, your best bet is to like take it step by step, because we don't have having a model would suggest that we know everything, and we don't. Like, we don't know. We cannot give you a model.
Yeah.
Not even the Globe has a full model, so.
Right. Well, and their model
that works.
doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and rather than giving you one that doesn't work, we just can't give you one at all, really.
You have higher standards.
Oh, okay. I can see now. Somebody tagged me in the voice chat.
Yeah, cool. So I'm also pretty new to it.
A lot of times when you're in here, if you just and listening to the conversation, if you just follow the live stream voice text, there's a ton of good information posted there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done for getting the app, dude. I also got it recently, and that app, David says 2 weeks. After a week, it made me go buy a Nikon P900. So I didn't want to spend the money on a P1000. I just for that extra bucks, I was like, nah, it's not really needed. So I literally went and bought one 2 days ago, and I proved it to myself. So well done on getting the app. It's gonna help a lot.
I'm jealous of you with that camera. I hope you make some good content. That's really cool. And
I proved it this morning. I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. It's flat here as well, and dude, the camera does help. So but that app is awesome. It is really, really awesome. So well done for getting that. It'll help you through your journey. And good luck, because when you prove it to yourself, you're going to be very, very emotional. Trust me, it's different believing the Earth is flat and then knowing the Earth is flat. Totally different.
That's funny, man. Well, I'm gonna go back to work here, but God bless, guys, and I'll be around.
See you soon, dude.
God bless you. Thank you.
Take care.
Welcome to the server.
I'm loving it. I've missed all the ill gifts that folk put in when they see me.
Yeah, so I was reading the YouTube, the live tube, the YouTube chat. It's like, it surprises me how a lot of them will come in there and they just will not come into the server. So I was a bit distracted there for a minute.
No, you're all good. Oh, okay, cool. So she's got an hour we live. Let me see what type that is. Oh, it's a baby. Holy hell. I can't tell what that is. It's not fully grown, it's head feathers.
Yeah, we also thought it was younger as well. And it's out during the day and stuff and just like swoops around.
Yeah.
We were just standing there checking each other out. That's maybe like 20 feet away from me. It was so cool.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's definitely a baby, but not all owls are nocturnal. A lot of them are diurnal. They come out during the day. Some are crepuscular, so they come out at dusk and dawn. But usually their eye colour indicates it. Black eyes is usually nocturnal, but I'm not even sure. Whereabouts are you from? Like, you don't have to give me like an exact location. Is it like North
No, it's fine.
America?
We're in Dallas. Yeah, Texas. Texas.
Okay. I'm trying to think what kind of owls you would get in that kind of part of America. I don't know, because you know it's really strange looking at it. It is a baby. It's not got its full head feathers yet because they start at their tail and they work their way to their head. Their head's the last bit to go. So yeah,
And
it's
we
not
have
fully
been finding
grown.
feathers too. Our girls love it.
Yeah, because it's molten. It's grown out. It's new feathers. You'll find loads of fuzzy ones. You'll find loads of long ones that are like properly grown at the tip but fuzzy at the bottom.
Yeah. Hey, how do
That's
you
amazing.
tell if it's a girl or if it's a female or a male? Do you have to get pretty close to be able to tell that, or
So,
is there different
it's actually
patterns?
really, really difficult. Certain owls, like female owls, are larger than the male. So if you've got two that are side by side, you'll be able to tell which one's the female and which one's the male. Without having them DNA tested, it can be really difficult to tell. Some of our owls, we don't know until they lay an egg. Then it's really hard to tell the gender of an owl. For tawny owls, it's different. Females will be a brown colour, the male will be golden. So some have different colorations, but most owls, it's hard to tell, really.
Okay. Wow, I'm so glad you were on today. You could tell me all this information about owls. Thank you. I'm going to tell my children.
No problem. Of course. I'll figure out, I'll have a wee look online and see, because I'm pretty sure you guys get barred owls, but it looks a bit big to be a barred owl. In fact, no, it might be.
You guys, did they find owl pellets around in the bottom of the barns or anything?
Oh yeah, you should look out beneath the tree for pellets.
Yeah, look for pellets. It'll tell you what the owl's eating and what owl it is.
Okay, good idea. Yep.
Yeah, they basically they look like little rocks, really. They'll be long and they'll be like a brown colour. And if you have to put them in the freezer, wrap them in tin foil, put them in the freezer to kill off all the bacteria. They need to be in there for 10 days.
Okay.
And then when you bring them out, you'll be able to break it apart and take the bones.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
They regurgitate all their bones and hair, all the stuff that's not digestible.
Yeah. Yeah, owls have got two stomachs, so they eat their food whole. In the first stomach chamber, all the meat gets taken off and moved to the second one where it gets used. The first stomach keeps the bones, the feathers, the bits that it doesn't want, and it will bring it back up. And a pellet, it can take like 20 minutes. So if you ever see one of them with their mouth open and they're throwing their head back, it's them working the pellet up, and that can take about 25 minutes.
They're actually worth some money too. I've heard of people that actually go out and collect them and sell them to elementary schools for dissection and stuff. They sell them for like $10.
Yeah, the company that I work for, we collect all of our owl pellets and we sell them to education purposes. So we do like £1 a pellet. So it's really cheap for us to do it, and it covers our costs of, as a little donation. But the kids get to learn, and we can tell them what they've ate. So we give the pellets out. The kids are like, we think it had a mouse. We think it had this, and we tell them what they actually ate. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
How great.
We
Yeah,
had
this
them
is
on
gonna
our
be
farm,
such a
so they would come and
great-
collect those off the farm for years when I was a kid.
Oh,
Professors from the
cool.
university, other people that wanted to collect so many male owls living out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you do find some, I'll let you know the things you need for dissection. You'll need like hydrogen peroxide to clean the bones and stuff, and it will be potent. But let me know if you collect them, because I'll be able to tell you what animal it eats, which will help me figure out what owl it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be looking out for it, and I'll have my children help me too. So this will be really fun. Thank you.
No problem.
It's like
Really
Bambi, you from
mystery.
Bambi, you from Scotland, right?
Yeah, I'm from Scotland, yeah.
Yeah, you got my favorite female golfer from your country. It's Carly Booth.
Yes.
Oh, you know Carly Booth?
Yes, I do. Of course.
Oh, dude, I love her to bits. She's adorable. She's amazing. She's great. She's an awesome golfer. I love Carly.
Yeah, she is.
Cool. We got any Globers?
I think they becoming extinct, guys.
Mm.
Can someone pretend to be a Glober?
They've all evolved into flat earthers.
Is it ladies' night?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's already started? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were a little bit late too. I was trying to hold off for more people to get in here, and Kaz, she done a real good job last week starting it, so I figured she could do it this week. But we were trying to wait for others to get here, and now we don't have any Glovers to ask any questions. So, but it looks like Creation Bear and Quad has someone named Juice. This should be interesting. Ought to be fun. Up in the VC check-in.
Oh, someone named Nate125 popped in.
I'm ready to schmack. I haven't schmacked in a while.
We're going hunting, ladies.
That's making it work.
It's hunting season.
Hunting season.
Welcome, Nate125. So, how long have you been looking into the topic, and what brought you here? Oh, I thought he jumped.
He's not saying anything. It's reminding me of like female lions just like circling like a little zebra. Like that's us right now. Just waiting.
100%.
It's okay, Nate. We don't pounce.
And we're not even that mean. We're not even mean.
I know.
No, they do all the hunting.
Stealth.
So, Bambi, are you married to a South African, or how do you know how to speak it?
No,
or are you using
sadly.
Google Translate?
No, okay, so I dated a guy from Belgium for a while, and Dutch is very close to South African, so I know some Dutch. But I am using a thing that's on my phone that helps translate it for me.
I thought so.
But I can pick up on words. I'm not fluent. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
No, not at all. That's why I said then my answer. Nee, om eerlik te wees, is ek nie ek hou nie van die taal nie. Ek is Engels. So I'm trying to say there's no. To be honest, I don't like the language. I'm English.
You prefer English. Yes. See, I know I can pick up on words like I know ik, and Dutch is ik for ik as I'm or I. So it's very, very similar to Dutch. So I can pick up on words and like certain phrases, and van is in there too. So, but I'm not fluent.
Do you listen to Little Klein? Little Kleiner?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Wait, I'll DM you some music. Okay, so I'm not into hip hop. I'm born in the 80s, but I'm a 90s baby. I love pop punk like NoFX, Blink-182, that sort of music. So yeah. But I'll play you some. He's like a hip hop guy from the Netherlands. Pretty cool music. So I'll send you that now.
That's amazing. Yeah, do that. I know. I don't like the way that the band's formed, but Die Antwoord, the South African band, love them. But we actually have the company that I work for, we have an owl that's a southern whiteface style that comes from South Africa, and I demanded that it was called Spook, which is South African for ghost. So now we have an owl called Spook. Demanded that this South African owl was going to be called Spook, and I got my way.
Nice. So I sent you one of my favorites of Little Klein. So he's Dutch, Netherlands. A friend of mine sent me or introduced me to this band, so it's pretty cool. Or this guy.
All right. I'll keep that saved. That's pretty cool. That's loud.
I grew up in South Africa and I can't stand the music from there.
No.
Stand it.
It's not. I just love the accent. The Gaz, who's also on the server, that's a gold member. He's got a very lovely South African accent, as well as he lives in New Zealand, so he's got a little twang to it as well. So it's got a little bit of their accent, and Kiwi in there as well as South African. He's got one of the best accents.
Oh wow, my wife is Afrikaans. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Ek is ook Afrikaans, Beerman.
Ja, ek weet jy is Afrikaans.
Wasn't there a famous, okay, I watched this documentary about this American singer, and somehow his mixtape ended up in South Africa, and he became so famous.
You're thinking of Rodriguez.
Yes! That was the trippiest. So for anyone who doesn't know, this guy, Rodriguez or whatever, was like a humble musician. His mixtape ended up in South Africa. He became top 5 famous singers, but everybody thought he was dead.
We found him.
And the guy back in America, he didn't know he was famous. Mm-hmm. It's the coolest story. I can't believe that's a real story. That's so cool.
Yeah. And then he came here and he played live here for us. He's awesome. Rodriguez's music is awesome.
What's his most famous song? I'm trying to remember how it goes.
Sugar Man. Sugar Man.
Sugar Man, yes.
I've linked it.
Oh yeah, you sent it there, Sugar Man, searching for Sugar Man. Yeah, he became a builder with his sons or some shit. And then we went to go fetch him, some South Africans. And we brought him here, he did a live show, and then he became huge.
I think that's just one of the coolest stories of all time. You're living so poor, and in another country, you're famous.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I still got his LP somewhere in the house. From back in the day.
Okay, so I just hopped back in. I don't know. What are we talking about?
I think it's
Guy
a good time
named
to...
Sugar Man.
Yeah. Okay, well, Creation Bear just checked someone in up in VC Chicken. His name's Juice, and I haven't heard anything, purposefully. I haven't heard anything about how he got here and how long he's been looking into it. So, Juice, if you'd like to share that, and we'd love to discuss some of the things that you have questions about.
All right, excuse my language if I curse. It's kind of a habit. Yo, what's up? My name Juice. Well, you can call me Juice. My name is Timmy, obviously. So basically, I kind of just wanted to see what the difference is between people who believe in globes and people who believe in flat Earth, because it's good to get both perspectives instead of just being not open-minded and not listening to other people. I feel like it's a bad habit, and it's kind of shitty that people do that a lot. And I don't agree with it, so I'd rather hear from both sides and then take my deduction from there.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's kind of lazy to just believe what what the consensus believes and what you're told without looking into it. So, how much of it have you looked into so far? What makes sense to you and what doesn't? I guess.
Well, okay, so there's both arguments. Involving. Now, I personally believe in globes. I'm not even gonna lie, but basically, there's also the flat Earth analogy that kind of,
Did you say you believed in globes? I just have to ask. Did I hear you right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I just want to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I'm not just gonna diss you or say anything bad about you just because you believe in something else. I feel like it's best when it comes to these different things. What I definitely see that could be a possibility from the flat Earth side is that y'all stated that the Earth isn't literally completely flat. It has to have mountains and other stuff and depth and all that. But that also does come into play with the North and South Pole and the way that it moves. So that's kind of like my thing. So when it comes to I guess, rotating the Earth and going around in space, it kind of makes sense because that's how you're able to see day and night. But there's other ways where it's like there is a possibility that they could just be floating around us and we're just watching.
Well, I mean, obviously we have topography in your like spheroidal shape, right?
Mhm.
And topography is just because it has topography and it's not like flat as a pancake without any features on it, doesn't mean that it is indicative of a sphere.
I can see that.
It's also, we don't believe it's flat. It's more like we wanted to.
You cut out, Karma.
Sorry, I was saying we don't believe in flat Earth. We just tried to prove the globe, and then we found.
I can see that.
Yeah, you can cut it at the end again, sweetheart.
God damn it! I was just saying it's a side note. Doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm bad at holding this button, and I've been awake for over 12 hours.
We falsified.
Yeah, if you move your finger off it slightly, it's fucked.
It's so annoying.
I know.
This is why I don't talk much in Discord.
I just don't use push to talk. I mute and unmute.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how I have to do it too.
You might have
No,
just
I
solved
use-
my biggest problem. Thank you, Bambi. There's
Nah,
a
I don't
reason
use.
why
I use.
love you.
I just have a microphone. Just use it.
No, I've pushed to talk because I play a game called Squad, and in game we got different radio communication. So I'm so used to push to talk. I've set it up on my mouse that I've got one of my buttons on my mouse. Yeah.
I have like
It's
3
the phone
different
thing
push to
that's
talk
annoying.
buttons in every game. I think in R6 I have it as like the squiggly key, and then after that in Valorant I have it as my back mouse button or something like that.
Yeah.
I have a pad that sits next to me.
Like if you're in a game, you're on a computer.
You slipped off again, Karma.
God damn it! My point.
Take it off, girl.
no.
Fucking take it off.
But you want to know something crazy though? Okay.
No.
So, I'll suck my dick. Alright, so I ain't even gonna lie to you. The moon landing, you can only see one side of the Earth. Just think about that.
Well,
You can only see you.
The
So
moon
that,
landing
that means
is fake as fuck. It's fake because the moon
How so?
can't even exist in. We're gonna get into it, but the
Okay.
moon can't even exist in the medium that they tell you. So you're thinking. So I would suggest when you're trying to imagine flat Earth, you got to start from complete scratch, like a blank canvas, because this idea that like rockets are traveling and they're going to this other realm called outer space, and there's asteroids zooming around and big giant balls floating around. That whole world is fantasy. It's Hollywood and programming. And we're going to break down into the science of how it doesn't exist. But when you're just thinking about the Earth now, you have to just imagine like blank slate.
I'd say it's possible, but I don't say that it has to be completely true. It might exist, and it just might not be exactly how we see it.
Well, we'll get into that because it's not a might or a maybe or what if. It just comes down to evidence and natural law. That's all.
I mean, have you ever wondered why you get less oxygen when you go up? Doesn't that mean that once you're off of Earth, there's something beyond that doesn't have oxygen and has something else?
Just means that there's a pressure gradient, but you can't have gas pressure without a container. And
Yeah,
we're
Atmosphere.
Oh, go ahead.
Aren't we?
Oh no, you can go ahead. Okay, cool.
Oh, well, I thought you were done. Sorry. What I was gonna say was that, and just because there's like less oxygen and it's thinner up higher, well, where are all the plants? Where are all the people? Where are all the animals? Down here
Exactly,
on the
they're
ground.
down.
Right, on Earth. They're not up in the sky where they're like creating, what is it, like carbon and all those breathing
Exactly, but wouldn't
things
that
we
mean that there's
need,
something
right?
beyond? And plus, even if you look in a
No, why
telescope, do you think
would
that
it
they just
imply
program
that?
something like that?
I don't really understand the logic of that reasoning.
You smoke
so
weed, Juice? Do you smoke weed?
yeah.
Okay. So when you're in a car and you're hotboxing in a car and you're smoking weed, what happens when you roll the windows down?
All the smoke comes out.
Yep. So that's the problem is our atmosphere, because I asked or I said, you can't have gas pressure without a container. When you said the atmosphere is the container. Well, if gas can contain gas, then when you roll the windows down, the gas, the air in the atmosphere should keep the air inside your car staying there. But gas doesn't affect other gas. That's why when you smoke a blunt, the smoke will rise. It's not affected by gravity. It's not affected by gas. You have to have and if it is going to be kept in a place, it has to be contained, like the windows rolled up in your car. If not, it'll escape, and that's a natural law. It's called entropy.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to. I want to say hello to Quaker Oats. She doesn't hop in here too much, and she's in here, so I wanted to say hello to Quaker Oats.
Hi,
Welcome to the room.
Quaker.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me.
Hello.
It's great to have you, and I hope
Nice to
you
meet
show up
you.
more often. But yeah, go ahead and continue. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no worries. I just use that analogy because it sounds really stupid and I always use it, but that right there shows you how gas acts. And they're trying to say that gas doesn't act that way when it's supposedly next to the vacuum of space. But uncontained gas will always fill the available space. It's the second law of thermodynamics. So when we know that gas acts a certain way always, when they try to tell us that we have a bunch of gas here,
counters and erases oxygen in like that part of the universe more than likely.
What?
That is there's probably places that don't have oxygen, and the oxygen is either A, sucked up by something, or B, it literally just gets frozen or something, like how most other things do. How do you think that? Okay, like if you think about the Big Bang Theory, right? How did anything end up existing on like a flat anything? If you had to what was it? I forgot what the fuck I was about to say. I have bad memory.
Big Bang didn't happen. You have to start from ground zero. Everything that you ever were taught about how the Earth is here, outer space, all of that, you have to erase temporarily when you're having this conversation of what the Earth is, because everything from the foundation up is completely different.
Yeah, because you're asking, well, how does this, if that, and the Big Bang Theory, even though we weren't there, we know that it couldn't have happened because it's a violation of the first law of thermodynamics. You can't, energy can't be created or destroyed. It just, so everything coming from nothing is like, there's no reason for us to ever believe that happened.
If your foundation is faulty, the rest of your model doesn't work. Do you understand what we're trying to do? Is that you're violating all the laws of known nature abhors that. Can't find a natural vacuum.
Well, what if you think outside of here?
I was just saying you can't have a vacuum. Nature abhors it. So your whole foundation of where you're has been violating the laws of all laws of physics that we know of. So you're having a hard time.
So once you realize that, you look into some of these things and you realize that they're lies, then you pretty much have to start from scratch. You have to go back, to the beginning and to the foundation of it and restart there. And you have to, rebuild and apply things that are observably and verifiably and objectively true.
I have a question. Okay, so why would two spherical shapes be revolving around something that can't be revolved around? And why would it just be floating on top if there's no connection between it?
Who
Because
says they're
gravity's not
revolving
gonna lift
around
that.
anything?
I mean, there's other graphic. I think that the other day I saw like some type of graph and it was showing like Earth as like flat, and after that above it, it was like a moon and it was like something else.
Yeah, well, we
It was
don't know what the shape of these things are. We observe them as lights in the sky, and they appear to just move over the Earth.
What makes them move in your model?
gravity,
Gravity.
100%.
So this is a great question.
Because the Earth would revolve around that gravity, because the gravity doesn't just pull; it also pushes away.
So how do you? What's your proof of gravity? What would you? I already know your answer, but
If you jump,
entertain us.
if you jump in any direction and you have a higher gravitational pull, you get pulled down, right?
And she's asking you,
Or you get pulled towards
for
the direction.
what she's asking you for, though, is the evidence of a cause, not an effect.
No, yeah, I, yes, but I was just going to see what he was going to say. So you say because you jump up and you fall back down,
Well,
that's
no, not
gravity.
actually up. It would be up in different. Okay,
You leave
so
the surface, you jump and you leave the surface of the earth. The reason you come back down, you're saying is because of gravity. Okay.
Yeah.
But what if I jump, but instead of jumping just off the ground, I'm on a roof of a house and I jump into a bougie swimming pool and then I float upwards? Where's gravity? Or ice. You have ice cubes in your hand, you let them go in the room, they fall to the ground, but you put ice cubes in your cocktail, they rise up. No gravity. It's all relative density. The same object, nothing is changing the object except the medium it's in. So when it's in air, it's heavier than the air, so it falls down. When it's in water, it's less dense than the water, so it rises up. No gravity needed.
isn't gravity still pulling it down and into the thing? No. Wouldn't the gravity still be pulling it down?
The ice is
to
floating
stay
at the
in
top of your drink. Nothing's getting
It's
pulled
floating
down.
It's floating at the top of your drink.
Yeah.
But
Which scientist jumped
falling out
to
of the
prove
drink?
gravity? Which scientist jumped to prove gravity?
What'd you say?
Which scientist jumped to prove gravity?
I can't hear you.
Let the ladies do this, please.
It's Sasha. Sasha. Yeah, it's ladies now.
Oh,
sorry.
Sasha.
I hate doing that.
So you're going to tell us how clouds work then with your gravity?
Clouds? That's a good observation, but wouldn't they be less dense than air? Then?
Gravity off.
And then the only way that they're actually able to fall is if they're actually heated enough to where it starts to rain, and after that snow. The only thing that I wouldn't be able to explain is snow, because that is just something very fucking stupid. It's probably just like solids that are too heavy to stay up and it falls down, just like there's liquids that are too heavy to stay
But
up.
for what is gravity again? What is gravity? What are you calling it? What does it do?
It pulls and repels. It doesn't just pull.
Oh, it repels too. Where did you get that idea?
Magnets.
That's
Magnets.
And we should have him define gravity. What kind of gravity are you talking about? There's two kinds. Well, there's more. Actually, there's more than two. Which kind of gravity are you talking about? And please define it.
Whatever gravity is what pulls us down. Or
Are you saying gravity is magnetism, or like they're yeah, just answer her question. I shouldn't have jumped in, but just define which gravity you're talking about.
Well, I don't really know different types of gravity. The only gravity that I know of is something that pulls you based off of how much force you're giving and how much force it's giving.
So maybe that's something that you need to look into, and because to determine that something is the cause of something, how would you do that? How
Well,
would
I
you go
have to
about
research it.
determining the cause of an effect that you're observing?
You probably either A, experiment, or B, research it. And hear from other people who think maybe different. This is what I'm doing.
Okay, well, if you're gonna do a scientific experiment to determine the cause of something, then you would need to be able to manipulate the thing that you're trying to prove is the cause. So, at which point are you able to manipulate this so-called gravity?
Okay, so either with yourself or with any type of gas, I think would be
All right, give
probably
me an example of manipulating it.
okay. So let me see. Well, you wouldn't exactly like manipulate it. You'd manipulate what you use.
Well, if you can't
Experiment.
manipulate it, you can't establish that it's the cause of anything.
True.
And
However,
gravity affects.
You can only
Yes,
establish what it
gas?
affects though. So yeah, you're right.
If gravity affected gas, why would smoke detectors be on the ceiling and not on the ground?
Yeah, and it's okay to say you don't know. I'm just gonna put that out there.
True. Yes.
I don't.
What, do you know that there's? I heard Kai ask you what gravity you were talking about. Do you know that there's like multiple?
I never knew that there was multiple. All I know is that there's one
Okay,
that
well,
pulls and repels, which is the same thing that
Well,
magnets do also.
well, there's Newtonian, which is Newton's one, and Einstein's. So you've got mass attracting mass, which is outdated and old and isn't used anymore because in nature, mass doesn't attract mass without a force behind it. So picking something up and dropping it, they would say that's mass attracting mass. But all you're doing is taking something, putting it into a medium where it's denser, and it's going to go down. Whereas the more recent one that they use is bendy space-time, which is just bullshit. That's Einstein.
Space-time? What type of bullshit is that?
The bending and warping of space-time. That's what your gravity is. The gravity that you're talking about is the more relevant one today, I'm assuming, which is Einstein's bending and warping of space.
Whoever the hell said that somebody's bending
Albert
space-time is so retarded.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. What you're actually talking about, you don't even understand where your model's coming from or the definition, because you're not describing gravity as science mainstream describes it. You're not even describing it right, because it isn't a repelling and pulling force. It's not even a force. But yeah, you're misunderstanding what you're describing. You actually more described a magnet than anything.
Can you describe what you mean by it's not even a force?
Well, like I said, you don't understand what gravity is in your model.
I know, that's why
It's
I'm
going to
asking.
take a whole set of definitions here.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking if you could explain it.
One of you girls want to give him
Yeah,
something like that
I'll
a little
read
better than I
this.
can? I mean, I could post something, but it's
Yeah,
a
you
little
can
long
just-
of an explanation.
You can just Google it, and the first thing that comes up is from www.universetoday.com. Why gravity is not a force. In general relativity, this is, as Bambi was talking about, Albert Einstein's gravity. Gravity is not a force between masses. Instead, gravity is an effect of the warping of space and time in the presence of mass. Without a force acting upon it, an object will move in a straight line. There you go. So, if you went to, like, if you took a college level astronomy class and you tried to tell your teacher that gravity is a force, they would tell you no, because the latest and greatest form of gravity says it's not a force.
supposedly it's warping space-time.
Yes.
Yeah, so do you think that they've ever manipulated space and time to establish that the warping, you think they've ever been able to warp space time?
How are you gonna fucking warp space-time? That's not possible.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
The thing is, they haven't done this, and this is when you say gravity. This is what it is, and you're scoffing at it and saying like,
Einstein is out. Like, ain't no way that he really said this.
No, he did say that.
Yo,
we just read it.
Somebody need to bring him back to life and smack the shit out of him. What's wrong with him?
No, wasn't
Are
there
you
a
gonna-
whole thing of Einstein didn't like actually said himself like this? Don't put his name on this. Like this wasn't correct. This wasn't right. This is not actually what it is. And they just slapped his name on it and called it true. Pretty sure a while back I heard something like that he didn't even want part of it.
Yeah, and
Because it's fucking
my
bullshit.
and it's my strong opinion that they like shifted from the mass attracting mass, because that is something that we could test. That is something that we could test to see if it's true, and we never observe it. And it's my strong opinion that they shifted from that to the bending and warping of space-time, which is something that's not verifiable. Like,
Quote
it
unquote
can't bend and
bending
warp
and warping
space-time.
of space time sounds like some type of fucking cover up for something else. I'm not even gonna lie. It really sounds like somebody was just trying to slap something on it and then cover it up. Make it seem like it was supposed to be something that it's not. Make it seem like
It does cover up for what we call the eighth, reason they used him. Whether he agreed or not, they used him.
Yeah, the mass attracts. Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say the mass attracts mass experiment was done in a barn shed in like the 1600s or some shit, and yeah, and it's way too sensitive to actually work, and it doesn't prove bendy space time nonsense. I'm sorry.
So this is what we're trying to explain to you, like the entire heliocentric system that they hand you and that they tell you that you live in, which they try to claim that that's your reality. When you start digging into it and you start looking into each specific claim, they're bunk. None of them check out. So that's the gravity issue, right? It's never been established. It's
Yeah.
not like you can't observe it. You can't experience it. It's nothing that you can manipulate to prove that it is the cause of anything. So I think, how did we get on the gravity thing anyway, Kai?
Well,
weren't you going?
Yeah,
he asked, how can we have the sun and the moon rotating around us then? And so I asked him, well, what is causing us to rotate around the sun? And clearly now he understands that the idea of bending and warping space-time, or just time in general, you can't warp 5 minutes. It's just completely retarded. So
it's nice. Just call it bullshit. It's bullshit.
yeah,
How are
so
they
we
gonna
don't
say
know
something like
why the sun and the moon are what appears to be rotating around our Earth. We don't know. All we know is we can observe that, and those are the things moving, and not the Earth itself.
But I do have that does raise a question though. If it is like a rotating,
It raises a lot of questions, actually.
yeah. If it's rotating around us, how would we be able to not see one at a certain time or a certain point in the day?
You ever watch a plane fly?
I
Starts
mean,
at one end of your horizon and just think
yeah, but that's
that it
because
actually landed when you see it go down to the end of the. You think it actually landed at that point, or do you think it maybe is going further beyond your vision?
So would you say that it's just moving away and then coming back?
That's what we observe.
And I want to add to that also, if the Earth were spherical and planes were flying around a globe, when they did leave your you would actually see them dive down into the horizon. They would have to. Like, they would have to dive down into the horizon if they're flying around a sphere. We never see that happen, ever.
Just like you never see comets going up from the horizon or meteors shooting up from the horizon. One of those things you never see.
Okay, so this heliocentric model that they hand us, these claims that they make. So we've already established that gravity hasn't been established. It's not true. What they claim it to be is not true. So we could move on to the next thing. If you're ready to move on to the next thing, what about movement? Have you ever experienced movement, or do you know of any time that it's ever been measured? Movement of the Earth. Axial rotation. Which is another one of their claims.
Sorry, I was looking at something. Can you repeat like that last sentence that you said?
Yeah, so we're okay. So we're examining all the heliocentric model claims within their model, right? And we've established that gravity is bunk. I mean, you said yourself that it's bullshit, right? So we can move on to the next thing
At least
and look
the
at
way that
another
you're
claim.
describing it, it's bullshit, but it's probably something else. But
Yeah, we could get deeper into that after we kind of look at all their claims. So we can move on to the next claim, and you can actually pick whichever one you want, whether it's curvature, whether it's axial rotation, or whatever. But we can go to axial rotation next if you'd like, because I mean I think it's. Is there any time that you've ever known of anyone actually measuring any axial rotation, or do you experience it?
no, not really. And I don't really have physics at the moment. I have AP biology, which is bullshit. I don't like biology at all, but still.
Well, you could look into it and research it later if you'd like to, but I'll go
That's
ahead and give you a little hint and a little clue. No one has ever measured axial rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So they look at the sky and they see things moving in the sky, right? And they try to they claim that that's evidence of Earth moving, but we're just observing lights in the sky moving. And so
Wait,
we could,
oh wait, yeah, you continue. My bad.
no. Avery, do you have anything to
Yeah,
say about?
I was just saying, like, if it's lights in the sky moving, then like, what about revolution? Does that mean that doesn't exist? Like, involving like revolving around something?
Oh, you mean like the sun? We could go to that next if you'd like to.
Yeah, like if like what would we be revolving around something, or would it just be like, okay, it's just moving and moving and moving, and it's just out of our sight somehow, some way, and it just becomes dark all of a sudden?
Well, let's keep track of all the claims that we've discussed so far. So far, gravity is bunk, and so far there's no evidence of movement of Earth. So now you're wanting to go to revolution and revolving around the sun. So first of all, do you know the distance that they claim the sun to be?
What is it like? I don't even remember. Holy shit! Hold on 1 second. I just look it up.
And if anyone else wants to jump in,
Gotta Google. Gotta use good old Google. No shade though. But isn't it just kind of funny, Juice? Like the flat earthers know all of this stuff. Like it's just kind of something to laugh at that flat earthers know.
Well, no. Everybody has a different perspective, and everybody has different ways to explain how they
She's
feel.
saying is that you should know this if you are a part of the globe. Okay, so if you don't know it, then it's just a belief, and that means you don't know it.
Ladies' night, Jeff.
And if we're just so freaking dumb, right? You know, dumb enough. We're like Amish. Like we think the Earth is flat. Like, what
Not
the
putting
heck?
words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
No, I'm just saying. Like I'm just like quoting other Globers, right? Like we're just so behind the times, right? It's kind of funny that we know everything up to date with the heliocentric model.
Yeah, she's sharing with you the spirit with which that people generally look at flat earthers and address flat earthers.
So they'll say that you're stupid, even though they're not even listening to what you have to say about it.
Correct. And then, of course, they have to go and look up everything that we say and make sure that it's truth, which it is truth.
Yeah, they claim that it's dumb and it's stupid, and they believe in which you were honest though. When you came in here, you did say that you believe in it, right? I mean, you said I believe in globes, so and it is a belief because there's no evidence for it. But they come in here and say that they they believe in it, and say that we're dumb and we're stupid and we're idiots for saying that the Earth is flat. But yet we have to take the majority of the time explaining to them the thing that they believe in because they haven't even looked into it enough to even realize that there's no evidence for any of it.
That's stupid. They don't have to be dicks just to hear somebody's claims. It's just
I know.
No.
I
The
wanted to
problem
say
is-
about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the problem is that it's a religion. When you believe, you have to have faith that you've been told this certain story, and then you don't even know what the certain story it consists of, what the definitions are. You don't know what it means. Gravity. That's the problem.
Flat
It
Earth,
becomes the faith.
nigga. Flat Earth, nigga.
Saying that.
Hey, yo, chill with that shit. Before I slap the shit out
Who
you.
is
Fuck
that?
you talking to like that?
Yeah.
I would take it on your
That's
ass.
not
Don't fucking
okay.
talk to me like that. Fuck wrong with you, nigga?
I
would
got
dead
him. It
smack
was
you.
Jaeer. Please
See what
don't
we deal
talk
with?
that way
You're gone.
anymore.
This is what we
Yeah.
deal with when
What
we're
you
trying to
talking
have a discussion. We have trolls come in here and just this is why we get sassy sometimes, because this is what most of our audience is like. I wanted to show you this picture though, Juice.
You gonna send it to me in DMs, or is there a place that you wanna send it to?
Can you go to the live stream voice text?
Yep.
Okay. It's just of these street lamps here, because we're talking about the sun and how you said, well, if we're not rotating around the sun, what are we rotating around? Again, you have to let go of this idea of outer space and all that stuff. So you see how the street lamps look when they're far away? They look like they're merging with the horizon, with the ground.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the picture?
Oh wait, am I looking at the wrong one?
Here, I'll repost it again.
Multiple people are sending stuff.
Okay, my name is Mrs. Musk. It's the last picture posted.
Oh, okay.
With the street, the lights on the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can see it.
So you see, as the lights that are farther away, they look like they've merged with the ground, right? They're not actually merged with the ground. They're all the same height. They're just farther away. And that's what the sun is doing when you see it rise in the east and set in the west. It's just going a straight line over you. It's not changing in height. All it's doing is just coming closer to you. Then when it's right above you, it is noon. And then as it moves farther away, it appears to set, but it's just actually disappearing out of your field of vision. So, like Damsel said with the airplane analogy, and this is what is happening. The Earth itself is not spinning. The sun is just moving away from you.
That's
And that also makes more sense because if the sun is actually, because they're telling you that that's not what's really happening in reality, that when the sun is setting, the earth is supposedly falling backwards and you are falling backwards as you're watching the sun go away. But what you observe to be happening and what is actually happening in real life is the sun is physically getting closer to you. And that's why as it gets closer to you and it's noon, it is hot. And that's where you can get the most UV ray. Like that's where the UV index will be the highest, is when it's at noon, because the sun is actually physically right above you at that time. And then as it leaves, it gets farther away and it appears to dim, but only because it's smaller. So it's like a flashlight in a big spacious room. A flashlight is not going to be able to light up the whole room. It's only going to be able to light up certain corners. And as you rotate that flashlight around the room, only part of it will be lit up. The other part will be dark still.
And a lot of them will be resistant to it. But what she's talking about, I'm going to post a video showing the sun shrinking in angular size, getting smaller in angular size as it moves away. And you can check it out and look at it for yourself.
Okay. And also, but wouldn't it? Even then, the same way that can happen with that, wouldn't it also be kind of similar to like when you're rotating around the Earth as well? Since you're at a supposedly, from what I've heard, you're at an angle in space.
That we're tilted on our axis.
Yeah, like when they.
Well, that has to do with the seasons, which is also completely stupid. As the heliocentric model tells us that when we're tilted on our axis, when we're farther, okay, the heliocentric model says that when we are farthest from the sun, the northern hemisphere is farthest from the sun, it is our summer.
Yeah.
And when we're closest, it's our winter. And the only reason that it is hotter is because of the tilt, which they could explain. They say it's tilted so the oceans are getting heated up by the sun. But what they can't explain is why, even though when we're farthest from the sun and it's our summer, we have the most daylight. Because right now during summer, the days are the longest, like the daylight. Sorry, go ahead, True.
Right. No, I was just going to add to what you're saying. So they claim that the tilt, like the distance that they claim that the tilt of the Earth is doing is going to cause the Earth to get hotter, yet the distance that it moves away from the sun, they claim isn't going to make it colder because, like she said, that's when it's the summertime months. But in order for any of that to even be possible, first the Earth would need to be spherical, and we would also need, like the sun would also need to exist in a 10 to the negative 17 torr pressure, which is what they claim outer space to be. So we can first look at that if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. That's definitely valid. So I'd like to see like where you got that from.
So does anyone want to go over curvature with him, or should I? I mean, I don't want to.
Well,
there's plenty of ladies in here.
I didn't find curvature when I measured it this morning. So yeah, and that was me just getting all emotional when I found that out for the first time, like personally. So yeah.
Yeah, so
that was first-hand experience.
Who wants to go over the curvature with him? Any volunteers? Okay. So anyway, so if you're going to determine whether or not there's curvature of the Earth, all of their claims, like we know that the sun can exist in a 10 to the negative 17 torr pressure because they claim it's a burning ball of gas existing in a vacuum, which violates the second law of thermodynamics. So if knowing that can't be true, we can, like a lot of their claims, we can't even test a lot of them, but these are things that we can know. And the curvature of the Earth is something, the surface of the Earth we have access to, so we can measure it. We can measure the Earth to see if it's curving anywhere. So would you agree that would be something that we would be able to do?
Kind of.
Right. So are you aware of what size they claim the Earth to be?
Like one in like 10 million suns or something. I mean, opposite. We need like 10 million or 90 million of us or something like that to fit into the sun. That's what they say.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's like 10. Is it 10 Earths? I don't know. But they do give us numbers. They claim that the Earth is 24,901 miles in circumference. And I put a chart into the live stream. You can click on it and it gets larger. So that gives us a radius of 3,959 miles. So if you want to, you can do some. You can look it up and you can search later if you'd like and see if you can find anywhere where curvature of the Earth has ever been measured. But I'll give you a little hint. It hasn't. It's not been measured. But there's a curvature chart in the live stream if you want to look at it, and it tells you at which distance you're looking at according to the observer's height. How far away from you the Earth should start curving.
I have a question. When you wait, hold on. Were you still speaking? Because if you did, you were just cutting out.
No, well, no. I paused for a second so that you could take a moment to click on that and to look at it, to look at the curvature chart. And I kind of wanted to go on from there and explain to you that according to the dimensions that they give us and the measurements that they give us of the Earth at 1.225 miles away, if you're 1 foot observer height at 1.225 miles away is where the Earth should start curving. So if we measure, or if you can even just do an observation, right? Because if the Earth should start curving at that point, you should never ever see the horizon extend beyond that. And if you raise your observer height, then you just, you can put it into the Earth curve calculator, and it'll still tell you how far away the Earth should start curving. But Logers, or however you say his name, he just posted the black swan in the live stream voice text, which myself, my favorite one is the long distance photography, but that one's actually something that's good because the oil rigs, it's actually a place where you can go, and the oil rigs don't move. They're oil rigs, so they're right there, and you can Google it, and it'll tell you how far the oil rigs are away. It'll tell you the distances. But anyway, so getting back to that, like at 1 foot observer height, 1.225 miles is the distance at which the Earth curvature should begin. So if you look at these oil rigs, the first one is 6.21 miles away, and the second one is 9.41 miles away. So if you click on that photo, could you just click on it and tell me where you see the horizon at?
It's still further away from them.
Further away, like in
Yeah.
between, in front of, or behind the platforms?
In front of.
You
Hold on
see the
here.
horizon in front of the platforms? Are you looking at the same picture I'm looking at?
I don't know. A bunch of people are posting different ones, and I don't know which one I'm supposed to be looking at.
Well, any of them really should, like they all show the horizon behind it. I just want to make sure that you're seeing the horizon. Do you understand what the horizon is?
Isn't that where like it's supposed to start curving or something?
The horizon is where the Earth appears to meet the sky.
Oh. Learn something new every day.
Well, yeah, you didn't know that that's what the horizon was.
It was
What
supposed to
did
be
you think?
something. I really thought that it was just like it was where like I guess it cuts off. Like
Well, it's the end of like okay, so it's where the land appears to end in your vision, and the sky begins. It's like where they meet.
oh, so yeah, kind of that
Okay, so if you click on that photo, where do you see the horizon at?
behind them.
Okay, so the second platform is 9.41 miles away. So would you say that you could safely say
I
that the
they're that
horizon is
far
at
away.
least? Would you say that it's at least safely, conservatively, 10 miles away?
Mm, probably not. Probably more.
Yeah, well, you're right, and it is definitely more, but being conservative, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you're 1 foot observer height and you're expecting to see the Earth curvature begin at 1.225 miles, and you see the horizon 10 plus miles out, what does that tell you?
It tells me that that probably what they were telling us about the curvature is bullshit. Because how
Yes.
are you supposed to get that far?
Yeah, pretty much. And that's not the only one. There's other tests. There's the AFI-Core laser test. There's I'll post some more laser tests for you, but they've repeated this over and over. They repeated that same very one right there many times too. I'll find their video and I post it for you so you can look at the video. So we've established that gravity is bunk, and what they consider to be the vacuum of space, 10 to the negative 17 torr pressure, is bunk, and that curvature is bunk. So what do they have left? Let me ask you this: is there any reason at this point for you to believe or assume that the Earth is spherical, spinning and rotating around a sun that's existing in a second law of thermodynamics violation?
I mean, I don't want to say never. I'll never say this. But I probably will say that they probably bullshitted what they were saying themselves, more than likely.
Yeah. So
So
coming into this, what was your confidence in the globe, and how has that changed now? Like right now, what's your confidence in the heliocentric model on a scale of 1 to 10?
bullshit. The fuck? Everything that they be saying
Oh,
is
jeez.
absolute bullshit, and you can't. You just proved everything wrong.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions about the heliocentric model? Because it is, and these look, just because we like.
But But I have a question. Where would all the other galaxies and stars come into play?
Galaxies, like what?
Galaxies.
So you just see lights in the sky. So when you go out at night and you look at these stars, you're told that you're looking at galaxies. Okay. But the place that supposedly these galaxies are at can't exist. So all you're seeing is just lights. And that's all that we know them to be. I was going to say also, since you seem very just aware of things, you might really like the videos of the NASA astronauts on wires. Some people, some of the like more technical academic people, they just, they can't handle that. But for younger generation people who can just call out fake shit when they see it or sense it, you'll probably actually really find those to be interesting because it is so obvious that they are in a Hollywood studio. They'll drop things, it'll fall to the ground when it's supposedly in 0G. They'll try to do these backflips and one of their legs will get stuck on the wire. You can see their harnesses. Like the chicks have hairspray in their hair. Like their hair is not like it's so bad.
Yeah, a lot of it is so absurd, and it's so hilarious to look at that sometimes I think they're actually trolling us. I mean, literally, I do think a lot of their shit is just to troll us. But even if it's not, I think it just boils down to their arrogance. That they know that they have the world so fooled that they don't have to really put a lot of time or effort, and they can just be sloppy about it, and they are.
I just watched a video, a real deal NASA video, and they talk about how the astronauts drink their own piss.
What the
and
hell?
They're trying to convert astronaut shit into food so they don't have to bring food on the space station. Like this is such a troll to the public. It's incredible, but we're so distracted with our Instagram and our life that we don't actually sit and watch what they're doing. Everyone's too busy.
Hold on, come again. You said that they're trying to what?
Yeah,
They drink their piss.
They take their poo, right? They take their stools and they turn it into coffee.
Does someone have the voice clip of Don?
Hell no. Fucking disgusting. I'm sure that nobody's willing to do that unless they're like retarded or something.
Well, yeah. Or convince you that that's what they're doing.
Where's Creation Bear?
You're joking, right? You're joking. You gotta be joking.
No.
Creation Bear, give the clip. Sorry.
That's so disgusting.
I know.
Why would anybody be willing to do that?
No one is. They just like feed us the stories, man.
They're trolling.
That we've got
You seen Jackass?
and then a machine that goes chugga 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 chug, and then you go to the galley and you make yourself a cup of coffee, and that's exactly what you are thinking it is.
Just caught that. He said that. I never caught that before, but he's like, and that's exactly what you are thinking it is. Did you? I never caught that before.
Yeah, I never caught that either. And they get $60 million a day. So think about a Hollywood movie. A Hollywood movie probably gets, let's say a nice one gets $500 million, or we'll say $600 million for a nice Sandra Bullock space themed movie, and they can get, a good 2.5 hours of great CGI footage. Well, they can do that in 10 days of their budget. Except they don't have to pay fancy bougie actors. They just have to hire. They probably don't even hire. They just have to threaten poor military wannabe people and then just make them do this stuff. And you'll see, they're not even able to produce a level of quality like you watch in the movie theater because they're not working with actors. They're working with military people, so they suck at acting. And when they make mistakes or mess up, like they're smiling or their eyes are like, "Oh shit!" It's honestly hilarious.
So you're thinking that they're probably just doing something similar to like making a movie, but it's just like they're just exposing it to the public and being like, "Yep, this is real. This is definitely real."
Space was made in a Hollywood basement.
Yep. Like the news. Like the news in general, we all know that the news is fake as shit. Like they'll film stuff, they'll film only part of something happening and put it on the news and say something else happened. So it's exactly what they're doing with space.
So they're just there to try and fool everybody, basically. Be a dick.
And hide creation.
Yeah, there's that too. There's so many different levels of it. So here's where we're at, right? You're looking. It's like they give you the story and you just believe it because you're like, well, that's what they're telling me. They're the authority over this information. Why would they lie? But and no one questions it. And we've been programmed to do that. So once you start looking at it, and once you start examining the actual claims that they're making, and you realize it's all bullshit, then you go out and do your own observations, and you see that it's the opposite of what they're claiming. Like that's where we're at right now. That's where you have to be intellectually. You have to. So do you have any more questions about the topic? I don't know if there's any other people in here
Well, not at the moment, no.
that have any questions, but we can go further into it if there's no one else that does. Leopard Husky, do you have any questions regarding the topic of flat Earth?
Oh no, thank you.
Hold on, I'll be back.
All right. Don't fall off the edge.
Huh?
I just made a joke.
Oh, I didn't hear it. My bad.
Oh, I said don't fall off the edge. It was a major joke.
Leopard Husky doesn't have any question. I want to ask Leopard Husky a question, though. Did you already talk to Leopard Husky?
I haven't. I don't know how long he's been in here. I haven't checked, but
when did you join the server, Leopard Husky?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I just asked when you joined the server. Did you just join today?
Oh, I've actually been on here for about a week now. I've just been, creeping, lurking.
What do you think so far?
Well, I am a flat earther. I just came to see.
Is Leopard Husky cutting out? Okay, good. It's not just me.
Oh, am I having bad connection?
You sound better.
Now you're fine. Yeah, it was just momentary. Yes. I don't know. We heard you say you're a flat earther. I think that's all we heard.
Yeah. I just came to see you guys debunk the globe.
Good. How long have you realized the truth about flat Earth?
For about a year, ever since I got saved. It kind of just went hand in hand.
So it was like through the Bible for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens to people. I won't even say it happens to a lot of people. I would say it happens to surprisingly few people with the number of Bibles there are in the world that clearly, start right out there saying firmaments, waters being separated from waters,
exactly.
corners of the earth, it's flat, the seal, surprising to me that there's not more. I shouldn't say it's surprising because we know that there's a conscious effort to counteract the truth of the Bible by
Right.
I can't remember the name of who's that Christian guy that goes around trying to stop people from being flat earthers. And of course, the Answers in Genesis people, they'll take it so far and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we can go along with young Earth and all this stuff, but don't actually read the Bible where it clearly says it's flat." I mean, these people who are like taking it literally, saying the Earth is 6,000 years old, doing all this other stuff, are still going to say we're living on a globe, hurtling through space. It's ridiculous.
Kent Hovind does
It
that.
is.
Who does it? Kent Hovind? Is it Hovind?
Yeah, you not
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yep. He is a big liar. I hope there's a special place in hell for that guy.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it does
I don't want to
suck.
get carried away.
I think you're talking about Kevin Anderson.
I don't know who Kevin Anderson is. No,
Kevin Anderson.
So
I don't know who that is. What does he do?
Another street preacher or
Another
preacher.
person leading Christians astray, and discouraging them from actually reading the Bible and actually what it actually says. It's obviously a flat Earth book, but that's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. I tend to go off on tangents. But I was trying to talk to Leopard Husky, so we are very happy that you're here. Are you of the female persuasion?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure because I was going to say something with a feminine pronouns, but I didn't want to insult you. So, would you like me to give you the ladies' night role?
Oh yeah, sure.
Great. Yeah, we're glad you're with us. So for you, like you said, you got saved, and then was it just reading the Bible that made you realize the truth about the realm where we live, or was there like a person who helped you?
Yeah, there was actually a person. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. Her name is Hacking the Headlines.
I have not, but maybe somebody else
Yeah,
has.
I've heard of her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've
Do you
heard
like
of her.
She sounds interesting. If you could post something, maybe I'll check her out. I've never heard of her though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She asked if they like
a lot
you.
of.
Yeah.
She does a lot of like current events and stuff.
Yeah. Well, she had this one about NASA and how like they are such liars and like the stars are so different than like what we're actually being told. And I'll post the video.
I've never heard of that person, but that's cool that she was able to make you understand. Because I recently had a little battle with. That's why it goes to come home with my homeschool group that reads the Bible, all this stuff, but they're gonna focus on outer space for our next year's homeschool co-op. And I told them the whole thing. Not only the Bible, but the scientific, reasons. And their answer is just like, okay. Like no response, no substantive response, no debate, just, oh, there's that crazy lady, she won't be here next year. I told them I can't in good conscience participate then. It's very, I find it very sad because a lot of these Christians think they don't want to be made fun of as being like backward, and so they're like, oh, we love science. There's no problem. Science and God can go hand in hand. Big Bang, no problem. We can just say God created the Big Bang. Why do you care what those people think if they think you're backward? Or why don't you just care about what the truth is? And who cares what anyone thinks about you? It's just, I find it very sad. Christians in particular, when they go along with that nonsense.
Right, exactly.
So, Husky, have you done any observations yourself yet?
What do you mean?
Like, have you done any measurements or filming yourself? Like, for instance, that video that you posted with the stars. Have you checked? Have you actually looked at it for yourself yet?
No, I don't have a telescope or anything, but I can just
when you get one,
can I get
when
one? I don't know. Aren't they kind of?
Yeah, no. I'm saying when you get one, you're gonna be even more surprised and emotional.
Wow. Okay.
I've been following this since 2015, but only this morning I proved it to myself, and I was like, "Holy ball sacks!" So yeah, just proving it to yourself just gives you that extra bit of confirmation,
Right.
well, way
Right.
extra bit of confirmation, but you get so emotional, it's actually scary. It's a weird feeling that you're gonna get nowhere else, but it's a very good feeling as well. So yeah, all I gotta say is good luck and enjoy the ride.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid to speak up anytime. You know, not just ladies' night. If you're here other times, you know we know it can get very crowded in here with so many people talking at once. But you know, if you have a question or comment, you know, don't hesitate to chime right in there, because we always like to hear new people's voices, and so we're glad that you're here.
Do you have any
Awesome.
questions, Leopard Husky, at this point?
I do have one. Okay, I'm not saying it debunks flat Earth. It was just a point like my friend brought up. He said, okay, so there's like if you put like a feather and a bowling ball in like a container that has like no pressure, like they will fall at the same time.
Keyword container.
I know what video you're talking about, and they actually cut away from it, so you don't actually see it, you know. But it's also in a vacuum, which we don't find in nature, and it's like the medium is what they're changing, and they're not really not really. I don't even know why I said really, but they're not establishing anything with that.
Right. And yeah, someone brought up a good point. Is like it needs a container.
Just follow up with a video of smoke in a vacuum chamber, and it still disperses in all directions. And actually, well, it goes to the top, and then when they open the top of the container, the vacuum, it escapes out. So I just would follow up with that, and just reiterate that if we had gas here, it would disperse once you opened up the container, and also it goes up in the vacuum chamber. So
it's not even logical to consider, really. I mean, because if you think of how they claim, like even if we gave them gravity, right, it's not even logical, because gravity has one vector and gases move in all directions, has many vectors, and they like to claim that gravity is what's containing and what's holding the gases in, but yet, so where it's supposed to be allegedly strongest, which is here on Earth, are we supposed to believe? They expect us to believe. Like, when you think about it, it's absurd. It's not even logical. We're supposed to believe that gases escape the Earth, where it's allegedly the strongest at, and then at the edge of the atmosphere is where it's supposed to just kick in and start. You know, it's self-selective. like that's not even logical.
Yeah.
I would just encourage you, and I think the more you hang around here, it definitely helps me, and I think helps all of us get confidence in the arguments and so on, so that if you're put on the spot, because anytime they give you those kind of, because that's what they love to do, because it's all they have. What about this little thing? What about this little thing over here? So you're telling me, what was it, a bowling ball, and what's the other thing?
A feather
that they're dropping.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me you're going to prove that we live on this globe despite zero evidence of curvature, zero scientific evidence of rotation, by a bowling ball and a feather. So why, and then you just have to make the person see you have, the only reason you think you live on a globe is because you saw a bunch of pictures in a cartoon in textbook in school. You see a bunch of cartoons coming out from NASA who admits that they only put out CGI images, artistic renditions, and some of the only, images that they claim are they don't even, right on their website, Robert Simmons says, we wrap flat maps around a ball and spent 4 months coming up with this image to match what you think the Earth looks like. They don't go up there. They don't even say they go up there and take pictures of the Earth. And the one that they claim, Apollo 17, which I just put in the live stream voice text, is very easy to debunk. That's one of the few that they say is really a picture of the Earth. And then you can clearly see like way more of the Earth should have been lit up, and everything they do is a fraud. So if you get someone trying to put you on the defensive, you just put them back and you say, when was curvature scientifically proven? When was rotation scientifically proven? Answer to both of those questions is never. And then what Truth Prevails just said, how can you have gas pressure without a container right next to this alleged vacuum of space? They're the ones who need to start proving some of these claims. And these little things they come up with, like, what about eclipses? Or what about the bowling ball? That's just them trying to get away from the main point that they believe in a cartoon, fake matrix reality that has nothing to do with what you experience. You live on a flat and stationary Earth. That's where they live. They've never seen anything else. If they want to believe fairy tales, that's fine. But they're not proving anything with a bowling ball, an alleged bowling ball, an alleged feather, and whatever they allegedly do. Because that's all theoretical nonsense, and they have nothing.
And if you'd like to grab that video I just posted, there's one where where the medium is what they manipulate. And they're manipulating the medium. They're removing, the air out of the vacuum. In the vacuum chamber, they're removing the medium, and it changes the point at which the piece of wood finds its equilibrium. That's the most prevalent variable that can be manipulated. There's other variables that have been manipulated to determine where an object finds its medium, but it's like the most prevalent one is the medium. You can change if you change the medium, the difference. If you change the density of the medium in relation to the object, that's going to change where it finds its equilibrium. And so there's a good demonstration for you to take with you. That way, if they start talking about gravity, you can ask them where gravity was in that, because gravity has never been anything that's been it's never been identified. It's never been manipulated to establish that it is the cause of anything.
Truth, thank you for that video. It's the first time I've seen it. And that's why I'm joined this channel, to find shit like this. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wow.
And What World D also put up the Hacking the Headlines link that Leopard was talking about. So I'm going to look at that too, because I've never heard of that person. But that might be a good thing to refer Christians to, if that's the angle there.
Right.
So thank you, What World D, for putting that up there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll post another video for you. I don't know who it was that.
It was Beerman. I'm just appreciative of any extra bit of. I don't know how to say this. I'm still new to it, and I just became a confirmed flat earther today when I proved that there's no curvature to myself today. So yeah, this is just amazing. I'm sorry. I'm very overwhelmed, guys.
Here's you another.
When you're on a high, it's great. It's great to hear him on a high. You're on a high for figuring it out, or doing it for yourself, for real, first time yourself. And I know what that feeling is. It is pretty cool.
And that's the reality of it, isn't it? It's more exciting to me than to have a belief of something that you can never experience and you can never observe. And it's more exciting to me to actually be able to observe and experience.
It's weird. I've even got tears in my eyes how fucking overwhelmed I am, guys.
And check that video, that other video out that I just posted. That's where, I think his name is Zach, but anyway, he manipulates the electrostatics of I think he takes helium balloons and manipulates the electrostatics charge of them, and that will also change where an object finds its equilibrium. So it's actually a compounded. There's a compound of variables. There's different variables that are in play, but none of them is gravity, what they claim gravity to be.
So Truth Prevails. Have you seen that video where they debunk that globe? It's where they can't find it again. It's where they drop the bowling ball and the feather in the vacuum chamber for NASA. And somebody did a debunk on it, was able to show at the top that they were releasing one before the other just to make sure it came out with the results that they had claimed that would happen. Remember where that one is? Been able to find it.
Yeah, I don't. It's that's been around for so long, and I knew it was bunk, and I don't really give it much time. So it's like if I have it, I would have to really search for it. And
Yeah, because I wondered if I had that one for somebody that asked, did they show that test, and then yeah, it's been set up so that it would give the result they wanted.
I'm sure I'm sure it will appear in the voice text here in just a minute, because I guarantee you someone in here has it.
I bet you do. That's why I was wondering if I asked, somebody would probably put it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and if not, if no one does, just kind of like scroll down to the additional information. It could very well be down there.
What are you guys looking for?
The debunking video of the bowling ball and the feather.
This flat Earth is costing me a lot of money, because now I proved the non-curvature by buying the P900 the other day, 2 days ago, and now I've got to go buy myself a vacuum because I want to prove to myself that this video with the weight in the vacuum is something that's real. So
Well, you don't have to have a vacuum chamber to manipulate the medium. You can manipulate the density of the medium just simply by using, you can use water.
Yeah, I
We
could
see
use
that all the
but I
time.
want to do it in this video, because for me, like, guys, don't get me wrong, like I'm full on this side.
Sure, do
I
it. I mean, if
it's
that's
just
what
I
you want
think
to,
it's yeah,
I don't
it's
want to
just I find
discourage
it
you. I
so
want to
awesome.
encourage you.
Yeah,
So if that's what you want to do, yeah, for sure. If you can get a
yeah.
vacuum chamber and do it, there's more than that type of experiment
That's
that
my
you can
next
do
thing.
with a
Yeah.
vacuum chamber. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love doing it because it's more confirmation for the rest of the guys that join this side of us. So I appreciate it. It's really, really cool. I love this. It's so cool.
I
Costs
really
a bit of
like
money, but
I really like that one where he changes the electrostatic nature of the object. Like, and if you also could change the electrostatic nature of the medium, I guarantee you, like, I haven't seen anyone do that, but I can guarantee you that, that would also, determine change where the object, finds its equilibrium in, relation to, due to its relationship of its own electrostatic nature and the medium that it's in. So I think that
I love
that
I
would
love
be
the fact.
interesting to explore.
Sorry, yeah, I love the fact that we, as humans and normal people, can do these sort of experiments and throw it in their faces. I just love that. I just think it's incredible. I think it's amazing. I'm still very overwhelmed from what I discovered today. So yeah, excuse me, guys.
Feel
Yeah.
That's how I feel if I smoke a joint. Just debunking globe Earth right there and
That's so cool.
there. Or just pour yourself a cocktail. Put some ice in there. Bye bye globe.
I think
Bye-bye,
they never
gravity.
expected anyone to question them. I think that's what happened.
Well, the technology outlived the lie. That is
Yeah.
what they didn't foresee. They didn't foresee that Nikon would invent a camera that good, or that TV would get good enough where people can have their own editing, their own Photoshop. They probably did not think that, or they thought by the time the technology got as good, they would have figured out something.
Or perhaps they expected by the time it got so good, they expected to have more control over the information. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but they seem to have a lot of damage control that they've been doing.
All right, I'm back.
Well, and it's funny. They're just like they couldn't keep up. They
Jeez, I
couldn't
want to
keep
create
up.
an army and go fight these people, man. Damn it.
Are you drunk?
A little bit, but
I can tell.
fucking-
You're just...
it eats me inside. It eats me inside. It's
Yeah,
bad.
I think the first
We
2
can't
years
fight
I got
them
into
though.
it, I think I stayed angry for the first 2 years I was looking into it. Once I
Yeah,
realized,
so
how, it happens. It's a process.
it hits harder now that I know that's the thing. It just hits harder than now that I know. Before I just believed that the Earth was flat. Now that I know it, it just hits me even harder. It sucks. I want to fight these people, man.
Well, it's a war and it's a battle for the minds of men. So the way to fight it is to help people begin to open their minds and to start questioning things. That's where the battle is. So that's how you
Yeah.
fight it, which is why we're here.
And it's honestly so good because I used to always try to push my, I don't know, opinions on people or just things that I thought was right on people. I was just pushing it on them. And then this has really taught me that you can't, and some people will just never be able to understand these things. And there's something beautiful about just knowing the truth, and it's the truth. Like no one can take it away from you. And just is what it is.
I have a question.
What's up, Juice World?
Okay, don't call me that, dead man.
Juice World, Juice Flat Earth World.
I never said that I believed in it, but the way that y'all explained it, definitely like it has some, you know what I'm saying. But I was gonna ask. So why do stars move in different directions, and why do you see different stars on different sides of the Earth?
Okay, so but before we even get any further, I just want to lay something out for you because I want to make sure that you understand one thing, right? And I'm not saying that like this just leads into it, right? I want to make sure that this premise is set so that you understand that just because we are aware that the Earth isn't spherical and that it measures flat and it's not moving and it's stationary and that we are contained and that the sun and moon are local and they're just the stars are just lights in the sky, it doesn't mean that all of the stories that they give you that we have that we're it's like falsification is independent of replacement is a common thing that you'll hear people say because it's true. So it doesn't mean that we're going to have a story to replace the stories that they've told you. So if it's something that we can't verify and that we can't test and we can't establish as an objective truth, right? Then all we can do is speculate and build upon. We can do it. It can be intellectually based, right? But the only thing that anyone can do if they're honest is speculate and build upon those things that are the basic fundamentals of flat Earth, which are those things that are verifiable and testable. So you need to ask yourself: is the thing that you're asking, is it something that is verifiable and that is testable?
Yes, it is definitely.
Okay, so what, in your view, what are the stars? They're just
No. That's
yeah.
okay.
Okay,
So
so
that's
they're lights
not
in the sky.
really okay. So my thing is right when you're on different sides of Earth, right? Now you know how there's a North Star and stuff like that, right? Basically, the more in a different direction that you move in the Earth, the different types of stars that you will see instead of those stars that you initially would have saw in the. So if I'm in the north and I see the North Star and I see it would be turning counterclockwise. If I'm in the south, I see another star that's like the midpoint, and then after that it would be moving clockwise. So why does it do that?
Do you see what I just posted in the live stream voice text?
Oh no, I didn't hear. I'll check right now.
So what they would say and what they would claim is that it's because the the stars, because the Earth is spinning, right? That's what they'll claim. But if that were true, and you see how those stars are moving right there, the northern hemisphere of the Earth would have to be spinning in one direction, and the southern hemisphere would have to be spinning in another direction, and you would have to be viewing the center of this, like the in between. You would have to be in between the two and observe that. So there's different effects that we can see, but all we can do is assume, what the cause is of it. Like there's different optical effects that we can see occurring in the sky, but we can't verify and establish indefinitely, like objectively, the cause of those things.
I guess, yeah.
But for it to be like what we can definitively say, that it's not what they're claiming, it's not due to the reasons that they claim.
Personally, I kind of think different just because of like the evidence that, like, from what I've seen.
Evidence, right?
Yeah.
What evidence have you seen there, Juice?
Hold on. I can go back to the video. So basically, what they're saying is that how are you not able to see all of the stars at once? You have to think about it. How would you not be able to see all of the stars at once?
How big is the Earth?
Yeah, god damn it. Sorry, dude.
Okay, and how big are stars?
How big is the Earth?
How big are stars?
We're not looking at the sky to see the Earth. How big is the Earth?
But it doesn't matter about the Earth.
But it does matter. You cannot look up to see down.
Kind
Can I just ask, is it still Ladies' Night or is that over? What's going on?
It is. It's still ladies' night.
So I wasn't sure. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, so
Just the point that Justin was trying to get at there is that you can't see forever. You have limitations in your vision, so you're not going to be able to see the whole sky from where you are. Regardless, you have a limitate. You're not a superhero. You can't see everywhere at once. So if that's supposed to be like a gotcha question, that's kind of like what we were talking about with Leopard earlier. Like, and it's a common thing. Like, I'm not upset with you. It's like you're just hearing this information. It's challenging the dominant belief that's common in this world that you've probably grown up with. It's been your, nonstop 24/7 for your whole life. So, like, it's fine for you to ask these questions, but like usually they're like grasping at straws, and they're just kind of like, they're what Globers who refuse to acknowledge objective reality use to try to distract from the main point that no curvature has ever been measured scientifically, no rotation has ever been measured, and that the concept of the Earth being a globe with a radius of 3,959 miles is purely a theoretical construct that only exists in people's minds. They don't even claim they measured the radius of the Earth, because how would they measure the radius of the Earth, Juice? They just came up with this number. That's their claim. It's not science, because it hasn't been observed. To have a scientific observation, you have to observe something in the natural world. They just came up with a mathematical model that they claim represents the place you live. But when we test it in reality, we find, as the ladies were explaining to you earlier, that we see things in the distance that are way further than we would see if we were on a globe of these dimensions. So you can ask about the stars. I promise you, everything you're going to come up with. What about the eclipses? What about the this? What about the that? Everything works perfectly fine in reality where we live. Because yes, we look up and we see the stars. There they are. That says nothing about the nature of where we live and whether we live on a globe. Have you ever observed any curvature in your time on the Earth, Juice?
No.
No, you haven't, because it's not there. Nobody has. So you're just taking somebody's word for it that this fantasy realm of outer space with all this fun science fiction stuff that NASA puts out, but like the ladies were explaining, it's bad science fiction. It's not even good. Like they're low budget science fiction, even though they're raking in the cash and should be able to come up with something better. They're just like little, like a junior high kid could probably do better. Bet you could find 10 junior high kids if you tried who could put out better animation and, CGI stage effects than NASA, especially if they were getting millions of dollars a day. So it's a joke. Did you have more questions about the stars, or do you want to talk about reality?
I encourage you to go look at the videos that a lot of us have posted up for you, so you can understand maybe what's going on in our reality a little bit more. Maybe you can understand how those star patterns work.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, there's. I like stars. I don't want to make it sound like Juice. I don't like looking at stars. I love looking at stars. I look at stars with my children all the time. They're absolutely beautiful. Just like people have been looking at the stars ever since people have been on this earth, because they're very pretty. They're constellations. They've been used for navigation for centuries and centuries, but there's no reason to believe that in recent times, that these so-called astrophysicists, who are actually pseudoscientific entertainers who put out bad science fiction, and they're mathematicians who come up with nonsense in their head, and they come up with a bunch of formulas to make you think it's true and it has no relation to where we live. There's no reason to think they're as far away as they say they are. You said, how big are they? My answer is, I have no idea, and you don't either, because we can show you how the math that they're using is all based on these numbers that they came up with that are from the start wrong. There's a really good book, Kings Dethroned, that explains how these astronomers have used blunders that were made in the past, never corrected them, just build upon them, and then are too arrogant or getting too much cash flow to go back and say, these original numbers seem off. Maybe we should rethink everything. But we're not. I want to tell you, Juice, we're not the only ones saying that these astrophysicists are full of it. It's, in the scientific community, which I can tell you because I am part of it and was definitely questioning all of astrophysics, dark matter, a lot of what these people are saying before I ever realized that the Earth was flat. That's why it made perfect sense to me, because there's plenty of reputable scientists that will say astrophysics is a bunch of bull. They're just making stuff up. There's this great guy, Pierre Robitillo, who explains, how he kind of is at war with the flat Earth debunker so-called Professor Dave, who's a joke, because he explains how these guys don't understand real science and how they're just making stuff up, and there's no reason to think the sun is a ball of gas, and in fact, there's many reasons to think that it isn't. But anyone who questions
You will
the
never
mainstream
believe this.
model,
That's the
is
same
attacked.
person that I learned like what I was asking about from.
What person?
Yeah, we figured that. We figured it was
Dave.
Professor Dave questions.
You're Dave Zealot. I love it. I love it. Yeah,
you're giving Dave questions the whole. Yeah,
he's got the So that guy's a joke, Juice. He's making money off of this. That's all he does. It's a revolutionary topic, controversial. YouTube promotes him because that is the mindset they want. They went into Congress and admitted that YouTube admitted they censor flat Earth. So therefore they promote people like Dave, and he's making tons of money off of lying to children, because I think those are the only people who think he's credible. I got to find the Pierre video for you, because actual scientists know that dude is a joke, and he's been refuted over and over and over. We can show you video after video of actual, scientifically minded people, including flat earthers and non-flat earthers, who explain how Dave does not understand science and is a faker and a liar, and he's making money off of his lies. So if you give him views, you are supporting a fraudulent, horrible human being who knows he's lying to children and doesn't mind doing it. He's a deceiver. Bad guy.
I just wanted to say something really quick about the stars. Sorry, I just had to say this. The stars, they tell us that the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour, and then around the sun, we are spinning 66,000 miles per hour, and the sun is moving through the galaxy at like 1,000,000 miles per hour. But we have the same constellations since the beginning of time, like the Big Dipper or Orion's Belt. And every year, this is how the zodiac is formed, but point is the stars, like the stars will be in the exact same location every single year. So if you go and you check out today and you see where the constellations are, in 365 days or 364 days, they will be exactly right above you in the same place, because the stars are moving and not the Earth. Sorry, I just had to say that.
No, it's valid.
You understand, though, that if you keep going to people that aren't science-based and are lying about it and don't give any evidence to even know what they're talking about, you're going to end up coming back with all these questions that are easily refutable that you could have figured out for yourself by not even going to these entertainment channels. You can go to basic science channels, start learning your basic physics, even just learning your own cosmology, still believe in the globe. You should actually understand what is meant by it. And you can do that for yourself. You don't have to go to an entertainment channel, watch them destroy flatties, call it whatever. And then you're just getting a bad foundation, man. You really need to go back to the book. Go start reading, watching just science channels, real ones that are teaching you something that's confirmable. So I just highly recommend that you just don't use that entertainment to come back here and ask questions that kind of meant to be gotcha. That's all they are.
I wish he had heard that because now I see he's deafened. That was very good. You got to repeat that if he comes back, Dan Zolmetic, because I thought that was very good advice.
Well, I see a lot of this happening. People come in and do the entertainment channel thing on us. What the problem is, don't even understand what he didn't even understand what he was saying when he said gravity. He had his own definition, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, you would think it would make them wonder, like they find this like list of 10 things to ask flat earthers or whatever it is, and then you just think, yeah, they don't really understand the question, and half the time don't understand the answer, but for some reason they think they need to promote these people, that are just
they really do
using them.
think it's
They're
not
using us, and
entertainment.
they're using them. Yeah, it's for entertainment.
They don't see, but they don't think of it that way. It's the weirdest thing. They really do think guys are doing science, talking science, have anything to do with it, and it's sad because that's what the problem is with social media platforms. Is everybody thinks entertainment is reality, and that's the strangest part of it. Like, and I think they've blurred the lines so badly that it made it easy to convince people of whatever now. It really is. If it's on the TV on a certain channel, then it's got to be the truth. And they don't go do the basic check for themselves. Is gravity what that guy's saying? Go read a little bit of stuff for the basics.
Absolutely. Yeah, just learning how to evaluate information on its own merits. That's a lot of the work we do here when we're pointing out the logical fallacies. That's basically what all of them are about, is to avoid all these kind of tricks and smoke and mirrors and just evaluate the information on its own merit. But if you have no idea how to do that, which many people do not, then you need to go figure that out first before you just kind of let this flow of information go by and, just accept everything that you hear.
You'd think they'd learn it in their basic science, but, they don't teach this kind of critical thinking about things anymore, or even how to logically work through a problem. It seems to have been lost. It's just really strange what we get being taught in schools, and so that knowing how to even figure out if you're being or understanding how to logically work through a problem is getting completely gone from technology generation that we have now. It's really strange to me. I don't understand the not being able to work through a problem and go check, make sure.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anybody else that has any questions? F Juice is here with just VC verified role. If there's anybody new that has any questions or comments, feel free to speak up. You don't have to wait to be called on. Or if you don't have the role, you can go up to the VC check-in to get the VC verified role.
I should have gone to bed like 2 hours ago, but you guys are making me too interested in this. I got to play golf in the morning, and I'm still here. Stop it. I love being here.
Are you going to calculate for curvature when you play golf, Bierman?
Oh, no, that's just retarded.
Not. How about the Coriolis effect? You're going to take that into account?
I normally do that. So I normally aim just to the right of the fairway, and then I hit the ball, and then it lands in the middle. Most of the time, depending on how fast the earth turns at that time. I normally blame it on
What
Coriolis.
direction
If I hit it bad.
There's Pierre Mary Robitel debunks Professor Dave video. So he is not a flat earther. But he has alternate ideas about, he's a scientist who has alternate ideas about the composition of the sun and so on. And I can't even remember how he got caught up with Professor Dave. Professor Dave was criticizing him, I guess, just because he wasn't, following in lockstep with the heliocentric model, including the flaming ball of gas thing. Like you can't say anything against it, right? Because that's their religion. So he dared to question the great Dave. And then this Pierre guy tore him apart after he tried to go after him. No, he's not.
Yeah, he's not even a professor. And no matter, even though he's not a professor, it doesn't mean he can't say what he wants to say. So, I'm not a fucking professor, but yeah, I'm just trying to say he tries to make himself as this whole I know it all guy, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Cult of personality. All it is anymore.
Well, I'll be going soon, and I see Truth Prevails is gone. Mrs. Musk is gone, so I don't know if we want to continue Ladies' Night or end it. I don't know. It's up to you guys, but I'm probably going to go soon, so I'm just letting you know.
4 more hours.
But I don't know if any of these people are going to speak up here that we have that are new. I guess we could try unmuting them. Hill and Strata. Are you there? Hill and Strata, number 6036.
Looks like Truth is coming back.
Okay, good. Good, then you guys can carry on. You ladies can. You dolls. Guys and dolls. Oh, and Karma's here. I didn't hear Karma talk. Did she talk yet? Hi, Karma. Yeah. Hi, Ildiko. Oh, hi, Karma. There, I heard you then. Good to see you. Hi, Ildiko.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing great.
Good.
We finally got lots of rain here. It's been, because we had like a very huge dry spell, and then it's just been raining for days, which is very much of a relief, after a long dry spell. So I've just been enjoying listening to the rain. It's not raining right now, but it was raining all day long, so it's very relaxing.
Here in Florida as well, we're in our rainy season. We have some spectacular storms here in the summer. Beautiful. And by the way,
it's been raining here in Iceland as well.
Nice.
Yeah, is that right?
That's so nice.
I was going to say
working outside.
I was going to say to you, may I
Go ahead, Ildiko, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it's all right. I was going to say that you were right about that physicist who was going to debate quantum eraser.
He never showed up.
He never showed up. He ran for the hills right away. So
Yes.
you were absolutely right.
Okay, thank you. Yes, not many people come back, follow up, weeks later to tell me that I was right about something. So I appreciate you doing that. But that's good to know. Yeah, it never happened. No surprise there. Yeah.
No surprise. No surprise.
Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
Onu Hino is trying to speak. I don't know. Are you there? Onu?
No.
Did he say no?
I think he said no. Yeah. Are you there? No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. For some reason, it froze up. I had to restart. But I was wondering I don't even know who we were talking to about the stars. But
He went away. He's deafened. Juice. Maybe he'll come back because he's just deafened. So he might maybe just got a phone call.
I was just hoping that he saw that demonstration. so that he can
that
that he can realize that that there can be effects that are going on that we are not aware of that can cause different observations in the sky. And then I was wanting to get to 20, but it looks like he left while I was gone. So, because I know that he was just verified. So if we have anyone else that has any questions, we'll be glad to go over it with them. And I probably interrupted someone that was getting ready to, just to say that. But I don't know. It is what it is. Helen Strata, do you have any questions? Oh, you don't have any roles, do you? No.
I just checked in Eric. I don't know if he came in here.
Yeah, Helen Strata, if you want to hop up into the VC check-in, we'll hook you up with a role so that you can unmute yourself. Or we can just do it here, I guess. You're unmuted. Oh, you've been unmuted, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I think I tried unmuting that person, but I don't think we heard anything.
Shows how observant I am.
No, I don't think you were here. I didn't try the F. No, the F juice has VC verified, yeah, but I did try talking to that person, but they didn't say anything. But I'm going to have to go soon, truth prevails. But I'm glad I could stop in and see you ladies. And as usual, always do a great job. And last week, I didn't get to be here, but I did listen the next day to the Ladies Night on YouTube, and I was very impressed. I wish Mrs. Musk was here so I could tell her that, but I could always send her a message because I just really enjoyed listening to it. So, yes, everybody is doing a great job, so keep it up.
Yeah, I'm sure she's listening. Thanks for stopping by. It was good to have you. It's good to have Bambi too. Even though she didn't get to stay for long, it's even the little bit of time. Becky's here. If Becky wants to say hello, Becky. I don't know if she talked while I was gone.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody going?
Becky. There we go. Hello. I was wondering when you were
Hello. You guys are doing an awesome job. Sorry, you gals are doing an awesome job.
Wasn't being called a guy.
Thanks, Mary Mom.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome. Yeah. Sorry, I hope I didn't get too carried away. You know how I can get here, especially since I've been fasting from feasting on Globers. So, I just was ravenous. I just had to tear them apart. I'm sorry, but,
I know you've been extremely busy, but I'm glad to have you when you come, and I hope that you're able to find some time to pop in every now and then from time to time. We enjoy having you.
Yes. Thank you. I will.
So yeah, Beck, it's flat here in Cape Town as well. I found that out this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's Australia is known to be the flattest inhabited continent in the world. It is so flat here where I live. It's just so funny when I meet Globers, hardcore people that want to protect the globe. They try to ridicule me for being a flat earther in Australia, and I'm always confused as to why would you even try to do that when I'm the one that's living on the flattest inhabited continent in the world? Like, why would you think that it's absurd that I'm a flat earther when I'm living on a flat earth here? So I find that pretty funny. And the other thing that they really jump to defend, I've noticed, is that the moon landing technology that was supposedly destroyed or lost. That cracks me up. Like, if it was the greatest step known to mankind and it was the most, famous achievable thing, why would that technology not only have been protected but being constantly worked on? Why would they not constantly be returning if they could have gone? It's just such a crazy lie.
Yet they're going to Mars.
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Okay, thanks, Creation. Well
That's
done.
wonderful.
Well said.
Thank you. Yeah, isn't that crazy? This is the general narrative, and no mainstream people will even bat an eyelid at that and think that that's strange as they're searching it up on their Palm devices. It's just crazy.
They don't even think about it. They don't even question it. It's the way they've been programmed to do, which is
That's what I was going to say. It's a mind control program, and the program is that you don't question it. And if you do question it, what you're faced with is, such ridicule. If you want to go against and say, "Hang on a minute, that doesn't sound rational to me," well, then you're a crazy person. Or the other way is the crazy person like me would say, how is that rational? And that person is so cognitively dissonant, what they're hearing that does sound kind of rational from me. Well, it can't be rational because you're a crazy flat earther or a crazy conspiracy theorist and the government wouldn't lie to me. Well, do you understand that politicians lie? Everybody knows that politicians lie. Everybody sees in a campaign, a political campaign, they see a politician promising all these things under the sun, delivering hardly any, lying blatantly to the people, yet they can't understand that the government establishment on a whole is lying. I find it crazy how well mind control works. We are literally the what are we? We're like not the rejects. We're the ones that it didn't work on. We're like the what do they call it? Like a mutant strain of human being that sort of like morphed off the program. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't work. It failed in us for whatever reason.
I've got a legitimate question though. So yes, I've had a few beers today, blah blah blah. But okay, so I got into this in 2015, lost it, and now the last 2 or 3 months big into it. When am I going to be able to sleep? When am I going to relax a bit about this? And I've spent a lot of fucking money on a camera, and I just want to spend more money to debunk a lot of the globe shit. When is that going to ease down? Where I actually get to live my normal life again, where I live on a flat fucking earth and just live a normal life. Because at the moment, I'm supposed to go to bed 2-3 hours ago. I got golf in the morning, and I'm still up here. I'm just trying to learn, chat to you guys because I love you guys so much, and I'm still here.
The more I sound like a parent now, but the more you stay on these sort of in these digital devices and in these kind of rooms, you probably won't be able to sleep for a while. I mean, it's been years down the track for me now in this group. I was a flat earther before I joined Discord, so I didn't realize what was going on in here until I got here. And then I was kind of addicted to it for years, and then all of a sudden one day I just relaxed and eased off and thought, you know what? I know what I know. If these people that I'm talking to for the past few years now, that they're still in their own mindset. So there's no point me personally arguing with them. I mean, it would be better for me to go out, I guess, and try to meet new people on different Discords and do it that way. But I'm honestly tired. I'm tired of the argument. So it's great that new people like you or whoever it is comes along and takes up the gauntlet for people like me that are tired from the argument and tired of being abused and called names and, treated badly because of what I believe.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I used to believe it until this morning, so now I know it. But it's just like, when am I ever going to be able to just live a normal life again? In the fact
Maybe
that I don't
never.
have to. Oh my
If
God.
you're fighting for the truth, because it's a battle. Because if you look at it, like the majority of the world is asleep and the majority of the world are under heavy mind control. And I mean, I was for many, many years, for decades, I was in the program and believed exactly what everybody else was believing, just going along with it.
This is the crossroads. You have life before flat Earth and life after flat Earth. And once you step into the life after flat Earth, then the life before flat Earth it's a thing of the past. It'll be different from everything's different, and it'll never be the same.
True. But you can come to I'm quite relaxed about it nowadays. Whereas I felt an urgency and a stirring in my spirit for a very long time to continue fighting with people about it. Nowadays, I like to support other flat earthers. That's where I'm at the moment. But everybody has their purpose and their position in a community. So It's just great
Yeah.
that more people are waking up. It's a very slow process, but once you meet people, I mean, and you'll meet a lot of people. I've met quite a few people that are wishy-washy, that, you know, they're not really, I don't think they're really convicted in their hearts on this topic. But the truth will.
It doesn't have
really
to be a
convict
fight,
you.
though. I mean, if you can just get the person, like, just plant a seed and get them to start questioning things, that's really all it takes. If they just question, it's like not only flat Earth, but a lot of things fall apart. If they just question it and look at it and examine what they're, giving them, that's really all it takes.
It's
That's like
trying
a
to
frame
break.
example.
It's trying to break through that barrier, that control that they have over their minds to even plant a seed. But you're right, you know, and I wonder, the people that are so gun ho on protecting the globe, are they doing it to keep their programming in place because they're quite threatened about it being broken down and actually having to come to the terms with, hang on a minute, and a lot of them have been in love with space for a long time. It's kind of like finding out, you know, your girlfriend's been cheating on you.
I think a lot of it with the Globers, honestly, this is I feel very strongly about this too, that a lot of it with the Globers who are like that, who fight for it, I think there's just an aspect of personal investment where when they first start into it and they first look into it, if they dig their heels in and start like arguing for the globe, even it's like they get a personal investment and they don't want to give it up, even when they see information to the contrary. It's like, I think a lot of them deep within themselves know that there's something wrong with it.
I think that's
Oh,
why
well, I
Santa
hope
Claus
so.
is a great example of that, because that's where
You cut out, Karma, or did she?
Yeah,
For everyone
sorry.
else,
Yeah, and I was just saying, basically, because the kids that love.
you cut out again.
God damn this app! I'm so sorry. I give up. I tried. I'm back to
Just
typing.
switch it to voice activity. Try it one more time. I really want to hear what you had to say.
Oh yeah, I'll be super careful this time. I was saying that kids who are super invested in Santa Claus have a harder time accepting it, just like with the Globers and the globe. And Santa Claus is another example of the whole everyone's in on it thing, and why would mommy and daddy lie to me and all that stuff. I think I managed to finish it this time.
Yeah, you did, and I agree.
It's just weird. Like, man, I want to do. If it doesn't believe it, I want to pay for their damn plane. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not offering plane tickets to South Africa, but I want to bring them to me or fly to me, and I'll fucking prove to you that I can see this shit and there's no curve.
They'll come up with some crazy
Yeah.
mental gymnastics to explain it away. I hear it all
It's
day
just
long.
weird.
On the
It's
other
weird. I
server,
saw it
it's fun.
today. It freaked me out so bad, and then it felt like I had my first crush again, and now I'm absolutely addicted to this shit. And yeah, it
Yeah, the
sucks.
truth is
But yeah.
tasty, I must admit.
Oh yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, there's always a retort to everything that you present, and then they'll start with, it's so funny. I can't even mention the topic in here because it's a so hot topic. But I was talking to this guy. He calls himself Professor Phil. There's a server. It's called Brandon's Flat Earth server, and they go and have debates over there, right? So I was in there chatting with them the other day, and I was showing them some information on a topic. And I said, I'll get my video. Look in the description box for the link. And I told them it was a link, to a government website. Well, this Professor Phil attacked me instantly and said, "You've given me a link to a newspaper article or something like that." And I said, "Mate," he said, I want the therapeutic goods link." And I said, "The link for that, exactly that, is in the description box." He is that disbelieving of me because I'm a flat earther. He couldn't see that I'd given him the exact link that he'd asked for. His eyes had flicked past that and saw the first link that he could attack, which was another link in the description box on a newspaper article of this topic. But the point being is he was that disbelieving because of who I was. I couldn't even present him the information he asked for because I did. And then he accused me of being an arrogant person and a bad Christian.
Well,
Because I
don't even think
because
they
I-
look at the information. They just want to argue.
He asked for the Therapeutic Goods Association link. I had already given it to him and he asked for it. It was in front of everybody's face. You could see it. But he was that blind to what I was presenting to him that he was looking and scanning that description box for the first thing he could attack me on. So what was there he asked for, but he couldn't see it with his eyes because he's blind. And they just attack people like me. Because they know she's a flat earther. She must be crazy. She can't present any facts. What she is saying is a lie. And what I was saying was not a lie. It was exactly what was said on that government website. But he just attacked me. And then when he realized it was that website, he told me he was going to call them on the phone. He's in America, right? He was going to call the Australian government number. I said to him, send an email because they'll keep you on hold for about 30 minutes. Like if he wanted to make that kind of phone call, it would probably cost him hundreds of dollars. Like this guy is like crazy.
They don't even care. Like I said, they don't even care about the information. And once you realize that someone is in that state of mind where they're just ready to argue and they're a contrarian just because of the topic, just because they want to be, because they want to argue and they don't care about the information. They don't care about finding out the truth. That's when you realize you're wasting your time with them.
He was so disbelief. It's not about him, actually, let me say, because there's a huge audience that we're reaching. So people like that are just props that bring out the truth. You know what I mean? So he can come against me as much as he likes, but if there's 50 people listening or 50 people reading that chat and they want those numbers, what I told him was the truth. I told him it. I backed it up. But because he didn't want to believe what I was saying, he denied it. And even when he got that link, he still wanted to call them. Even though he had those figures, he still wanted to ring them personally on the phone because he couldn't understand or believe what he was saying. And I thought, that's crazy. Totally mind controlled, cognitive dissonance at its best. They're just like zombies, some of these people.
Well, they believe so much in the people that are giving them the information that they're getting that it's in any aspect, not just flat Earth, but when you get into another topic and they don't want to admit that the things that they're being told are lies. They don't want to accept that these people are lying to them. So it really doesn't matter which topic that you're talking about. If you start tearing that paradigm of theirs down, they get defensive.
Yeah. Oh, he got incredibly defensive and I just said you're foolish or whatever. Like you can't even read a description box. And then he's like, he said you're arrogant and you're a bad. Like not a bad Christian. He said he was a Christian and I was a Christian. And the only reason I guess he knew I was a Christian was because in my little, thing on my name, it's got a Bible verse under it. So he was just looking to attack me then because he was just being so arrogant. Like he couldn't even read a simple description box. And it was in the post. You didn't even have to go to the video. You could literally see the hyperlink in the text chat. In that little box, that's all. It was right in front of his eyes. But because he was so dead against me for being a flat earther, he was not accepting what I was telling him. Even though the topic wasn't flat earth, it was something completely different. He wasn't going to believe anything that I presented him because of who I am.
Becky, does it feel like you in a zombie movie by any chance?
Yeah, it really does sometimes. It's scary. Okay. It reminds me of that. Yeah. They sort of live and these people need a pair of sunglasses.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So, I gotta get prepared.
I had to get money for my food.
Oh my god. What am I getting myself into?
Huh? What did I do?
The truth shall set you free.
I just got back. What did I do?
Oh, no, you didn't do nothing, man. He's like he's talking about he can't even get away to go to bed. It's not you, it's the topic.
Yeah.
He's so intrigued by it that he can't let go of it long enough to go to bed.
I thought I did something wrong. I was confused.
Yeah. Sorry. You convinced me of the bull, buddy. You bastard, you. Yeah, I see Justin said I got to go to bed. I do have to go to bed, guys. I'm going to push for another 20 minutes. 2 p.m. I got to wake up at like 5:30. So another half an hour. Fuck it. I'll stick around because I'm too addicted to this. I spend okay. I got my own business, so I binge watch YouTube videos. I don't have a boss telling me what to do, so I just watch videos and listen to this and read that. So I'm so fucking into this stuff, and yeah, I can't leave it. I want to get as much information as possible. And then today, obviously, I went to go measure my own damn curvature, which didn't exist, and
well
it's just
done.
it's fucked me up even more. So yeah,
Well, at least you're honest enough and open enough to go out
Yeah.
and really take a look at things, because a lot of people that I've met over the years, they can't even do that. Even when they go out and do that, or they probably wouldn't. But if they did, I don't know if they'd even be able to admit it. I've spoken to lots of people in these channels over the years, and you present all this information to them, which sounds very, very convincing. But when they get to the end of it, they say to me, I'm so sorry. I just don't believe that the government could be lying to us. And that
So,
lie,
Becky-
that trauma keeps them in program.
So Becky, day before yesterday, I went to go spend $1,000 to go buy a camera to prove it to myself, which I proved this morning, and that's why I'm so fucked up at the moment.
Wow.
Wait till
Well,
you get the
yeah,
vacuum
this isn't
chamber.
quite the moment.
Can I ask him a question? How far did you zoom in? Do you know?
62 kilometers.
Holy shit.
and-
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fair distance, guys.
And
62
I lost about 3 meters.
Can you
So-
tell me where it was too, so that I can
Yes,
look it
I
up
can.
myself?
I
Thank you.
can. You can go to Eysterfontein. It's let me get the spelling for you. Hold on. It's
I say that because most people would like to see your evidence as well.
100%, no problem. So Eysterfontein. So you can choose it randomly there. I was on the last road on the south side of Eysterfontein. So Eysterfontein you spell YZER.
Post it in the lobby, voice
All
text
right.
lobby. Yeah.
Hold up. So go anywhere on Google Maps. It's the last road on the south
Oh,
south
wow,
part,
that's
a
a
little
weird name.
cul-de-sac.
Okay.
Yeah. And I looked at the V&A waterfront. I'll send that to you as well. Oh fuck, sorry, it's caps and blah blah blah. So I went to Eysterfontein. I live in Bloubergstrand, so Eysterfontein's like a half an hour drive from our place. So I drove up there. I went to the last road where I got a clear sight to the V&A waterfront, and I bought myself a Nikon P900. So it's not the P1000. However, I got this at a better price. It's like $1,000.
Oh, that's the first one. So the P900 is the absolute first one that everyone
Yeah.
uses as their best.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the P1000 was like 5,000 Rand more. I'm not going to convert that now. So I paid like $1,000 for this. It was on special because it's the last one. Anyway, so I bought that just to prove this shit to myself. And I went to Eysterfontein because it's up the road from me, and I know there was a clear line of sight from there to the V&A waterfront. And I got to I could see the platforms of the dock. I filmed it. I've got it. I've created a YouTube channel. I just want to get more content before I launch the channel. But yeah, I saw the docks just above them. So I lost about 3 meters. However, it's 62 kilometers, and it should be 160 meters of curvature. And I had the camera at a foot, but I saw too many waves. So then I moved it up to 1.5 meters on my tripod above sea level, just to, just get a better view. And I still saw it. So 1.5 meters versus 1 foot. I'm sorry, there's not much difference. I should still see 100 odd meters of curvature, and I still saw those fucking docks. So sorry, it's still flat here in Cape Town.
That's great, mate.
Yeah. Did you find the locations there, dude? That asked for the places.
Oh yeah, I'm posting some pictures I found.
These are really, those are far distances.
Yeah.
Wait, so
It should
Beerman,
be
it
62.
looks the
Yeah.
island, it's Dassen Island. Is that what you're looking at?
So it's near Dustin Island. So that's another place I want to go to. The guys are always asking me to go to Dustin Island. So a very wealthy friend of mine's cousin lives on Dustin Island, or they sort of live on Dustin Island. They got access to go to Dustin Island. So that's something I want to arrange, that I get some views from there. But it's not much difference, dude. It's going to be like 8 or 9 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's going to be much difference, but I'll do it if you guys want me to do it. That's what I'm here for. I'll be your guinea pig. I'll measure what I can for you guys. I bought the camera. Yeah, I'm full on your guys' side. So yeah.
Excuse me. I'm Beer Man.
Yo.
Could I talk to you in private, like after this is done?
Yeah, sure, dude. I gotta go to bed in like 15 minutes or so. So
Maybe tomorrow, like when you wake up or something.
So I'm playing golf tomorrow morning. That's why I actually have to go to bed. But we can hop into a call if it's not going to be too long. I'm glad to hop in with you, dude. Not a problem. I'm here.
It'd kind of be like something, it would be something that depending on how long the conversation would last, it would probably take a while.
Fuck it, let's do it, dude. I'm happy to do it. Fuck golf.
Because I kind of like really want to learn how to like do different things involving business and making money and stuff. So
okay, cool. Yeah, so I started a business in February, which I'm doing fucking well. I've just turned over R500,000 rand in 3 months, so I'm happy to chat to you. Screw golf, dude. I will play with my eyes half closed. I'll help you out where I can, dude. I'm a genuine guy, and yeah, let's chat afterwards. Not a problem.
All right, I added you. It's Juice.
Cool. Yeah, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's make a plan here at 2:00, and then I'm gonna call it a quits on this Discord, and then you and I chat for a bit, and I'll head to bed.
Okay.
Welcome to Flat Earth, Beer Man.
Thanks, man.
And thanks for sharing your observations. And I'm sensing that Godric has something that he wants to add. Now, Godric, do you have something that you'd like to add?
No, thank you. I just wanted to hear the ladies. That's all.
Wow.
Okay, so you're just bitching for nothing.
Nah, he was just talking. Like I said, he was just talking to us about his experience, Godric. That's it.
Okay. We have Tempo in here, and Tempo doesn't have a role, but I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. And if you have any questions regarding the topic, Tempo, feel free to ask. Go ahead and speak up and tell us your story or your journey or how you got here. If you have nothing to say or nothing to add, I'm going to put you back on mute, and you'll have to hop up into the VC chicken to get a roll.
Juice, do you maybe want to hop into? I think we can hop into Flat Earth Beginners VC. Can we hop in there?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's hop in there then. Because I see the chat.
Wait, hold on. I have to find it. I don't.
Just
really
below
know
us
it.
now. Just below us.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, cool. Let's hop in there.
All right.
Okay, Tempo, this is your last chance, or you'll just go back on mute. Yep. Okay. Anyone else? I'd like to hear from Hill and Strata. Been sitting in here unmuted for a while. Okay, well, I'm going to pop you back on mute, too. You've been sitting off mute for a while, but if you're not going to speak, I'm just going to put you back on mute until you go through the VC check-in process. So, I don't know, man. It's like if no one else has any questions, I guess we can just end ladies' night. Unless anyone else has anything they want to add or they have something they want to ask.
Just thanks for a great ladies' night, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Karma, and you'll be in my thoughts, by the way.
Thank you.
Truth, can you tell us your story about becoming a flat earther?
My story? Well, it started with looking into a lot of different other topics. You know, I believe when people ask me this, it's like the only way that I can recall the time frame and like pinpoint it and get a get a rough estimate, get near it. You know, is I stopped watching television. Like I really wasn't watching a lot of it anyway, but it's like I actually got rid of my television. I just didn't even want it in the house anymore when I realized that every single thing was just programming your mind. And that was during the 2016 elections. I never was into the political game, never voted, and I got sucked into the Trump thing. And then after voting, it was like I looked into his, which I should have done before, and I really kind of got pissed off with myself that I didn't do it before. But I was following all the programming on television, and I was thinking that that he was going to be the different one. He was going to be the one that goes against the mainstream, goes against everything. And then I started doing research after he was elected. I started doing research into his family tree. Matter of fact, it was 3 days before his inauguration. And when I started looking into the family tree, and I started realizing that he was chosen from the get-go, his great-grandfather came over with, which was Friedrich. It was a German name, actually, Friedrich Trump. His great-grandfather, or maybe it was just his grandfather. No, it was his grandfather. Came over with David Rockefeller Sr. from Germany, and this, like, I could go into that story, but that's an entirely another story, all of its own. So I won't go into that one, but let's just say that I had found a lot of information that showed that the Rockefellers and the Trumps have been in bed together for a very long time. They've been, working together for a very long time, and it's just, it's all propaganda. It's all staged. The world is a stage, and it's there for our entertainment. And when I realized that even he, the one who had the strongest presence of going against everything was, was more of a player than anyone else ever thought about being, then I was finished with it. So I got rid of my television. And so that was the year. That was the year that I stumbled across it, and I was looking into different things, like, I followed Alex Jones for many years, and then I saw the change and the flip in him, where he was actually pointing out the actual culprits of, certain things. And then all of a sudden he started following the mainstream narrative and started blaming China and Russia. So, they got a hold of him, and he also became controlled opposition. And anyone that's speaking the truth, it's like I noticed that anyone that is speaking the truth, got their truth got hijacked, and they gained control of them. And so everything pretty much was controlled opposition. So, but I knew about the fluoride. I knew how they were poisoning our water, and then I was looking into big pharma.
Chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Yeah. And, and I learned about big pharma and how it's just pretty much all sorcery, and they want to keep you ill and keep you sick so you can get on that. And then there was the chemtrails, and I actually started looking into, like the Mayan calendar and Nibiru, Planet X, and all that. And it was that kind of started my journey of looking into the sky. I started looking into the sky, and then, through the videos that I was watching, which I didn't believe everything that I saw, but I did. It's like I got to the point to where there started being so much crap out there that I didn't know. It was like getting really hard to discern it. And then when I stumbled across the flat Earth videos, it was I started saving them. I started saving the videos because I thought it was a joke. I said, well, here's another thing. Here's another thing that they're putting in our face that's, just to distract us. It's just a lie. It has to be. There's no way the Earth can be flat. And then through looking at the sky, and I started observing the sun and the moon, I actually started questioning and I started wondering because they really looked pretty local to me and very close. And then with water, knowing that, water never curves around anything, it never bends. And I tried to, I was like trying to figure out and think, conceptually in my mind how, the earth could be more than 70% water, yet we never observe it curving or bending. And so I started considering when I saved all those flat earth videos, I was actually planning on laughing, just having a day. Instead of watching the funny cat videos, it was going to be flat earth videos. It was going to be for fun. It was just going to be to have a laugh. And I was going to spend a day to just relax and kick back and have something to laugh at. But, the second or third video in it, I run across the Eric Dubay 200 proofs. And, needless to say, I wasn't laughing when it was over with. It's like my chin was dropped and I'm like, no way. There's no way that it's this bad, but it is. It literally is. And then I started just, going up on hilltops and, to lakes and just observing water and observing the reality for what it is. And it's obvious that it's flat. It's not curving. And then when you start really listening to a lot of the information that I found, I did find here because people had already been really looking into everything and dissecting it and examining the claims of the heliocentric model, which I would have never gotten that deep into it. I didn't feel like that. I mean, there really wasn't a need to. Once you realize that it's flat and that it's not what they claim, it's like pretty much, I mean, there's no reason to know all of the other details. But then when you start hearing it, you start really then you have this awareness of how absurd it is, like how much trickery they have actually used. And then at that point, you get pissed off, or I did anyway. I think I was angry for like 2 years and, or close to 2 years, maybe about a year and a half or whatever. It's like I was so angry about it because when you talk to people and you ask them, you're like, do you realize? And then you start talking about the sun and the moon being local and there is no reason to believe that the earth is moving and how water behaves. And you start asking them, so do you realize that these are lies? Do you realize? And then I go into all the other things that I'd looked into and no one cares. No one gives a shit about any of it, right? They don't care. They don't want to waste their time with it. And as long as their world, they're able to function within the world and not have any resistance, then they're happy with it. And it's like, there's a certain amount of anger that, would rise up within me. It's just like I was getting very angry that no one cared about the truth. And so then you just go on this, and then the rest of the journey is kind of like it gets emotional and it gets personal. And so I spent a lot of time in here just listening. It was, I don't know, it was probably a year or two before I ever even spoke at all. And then when I did, I didn't speak much because for the most part, to be honest with you, there was so much knowledge and so many people that had looked so deep into this and had so much more knowledge than I did that it was kind of intimidating. And there's a certain amount of I don't know, it's just a certain amount of respect, and you just kind of like, just respect the information. And so you just kind of like sit back and take it in for the longest time. And then after a while, it sets in. And then after a while, you kind of get over the anger of the fact that they've lied. And then it shifts to anger towards people for not caring about the truth. And then you finally get to place your anger in the proper areas, towards those who know the truth or fight against the truth. And purposefully, it gets down to purpose and intent. Those who purposefully and intentfully deceive people. Which brings me to where I am right now. So, which is, where I have a love for the community. I have a love for the truth, and I have finally properly placed my anger to where it can be constructive and productive. It's just learning to control it, right?
Well said. Really well said.
Thank you. And I can't believe like what you said, it's so much deception. Like by the TV, everything is a lie.
And then also, at the same time, it's like during that entire journey, my children were graduating high school and going into college, and knowing that their entire life I have like sent them into these places where they get taught these lies, and now they're finished with that, and they're finished with that journey, and they're going into another one. They're went into college and graduated college, and they have all of these lies that have been planted in their minds, and they believe them. And so now it's like that I think that's my regrets, that where I have like this guilt and the accountability for not noticing it and not looking into it sooner, and just being part of the program for so long.
A hell of a lot better than being stuck in it your whole life, even when faced with the truth.
Yeah, nearly though. I mean, I'll be 46 next month, so
Spring chicken.
it's a pretty good part of it.
Yeah, still spring chicken. Yeah, I think this also speaks on why it's so important to frame it, how you approach it. Because somebody who doesn't even realize that corruption is widespread needs to first realize that before you start going into stuff like this.
For sure.
Like, I was really lucky because my family already was pretty open about looking into conspiracy stuff, and we had personal experience with that kind of stuff. So it wasn't as big of a shock. Like, I was like, okay. Then they.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I do imagine, like, what it would be, because I do hear many of them saying that that their families are flat earthers, and that they've always known and always been taught that the earth was flat. Like, I often imagine and wonder what that would be like, how the world would be different, because the world to me is absolutely different. It's like I said, life before flat earth and life after. And it's not just about the flat earth, it's about the truth, right? It's life before the deception, and life after the truth. Or whatever. Before truth and after truth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perception shift almost.
And so I imagine when I hear people say that, it's like I do fantasize momentarily and imagine what that would be like. And just for those people listening that fall into that category, I would say, count yourself blessed and thankful that you've had such a life, where you've known the truth. And wasn't like that your parents perhaps were flat earthers or whatever, but that you're in, that you knew, and you didn't live, 45 years or 40 years, actually 40 years of your life in a lie about your reality.
Yeah, I mean, just knowing that they're about some of the lies and being taught critical thinking can be enough to make it easier to realize these kind of things.
Which I appreciate, when the younger ones come in here who are even, and when I say younger ones, I mean relative to me, relative, in their 20s, even, it to me is like I'm talking about those when I say younger ones. But and especially the teenagers, but when they come in here and they're asking questions, and they have the opportunity to actually, wake up to the truth at that age, it's like I really appreciate the opportunity to be part of that experience for them.
Now that I can totally relate to, because for instance, work for me has been very fun flat earth wise recently, because I got a 10-year-old who's really interested in this now, because it started with NASA fail stories, I guess jokes, and then he's like, I'm gonna grow up to go to NASA and I'm gonna like infiltrate and see what they're really up to, and then I'll come back and tell you what's up. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. That's just in America and stuff. Like, you can do something here. But he's very cute about it. And then he's even asked me like, how many planets do you believe are? And I'm like, I don't believe in any planets. He's like, then what do you think the Earth is? And I'm like, I think the Earth is the Earth, and the sky is the sky, and it doesn't have to be a planet. Stuff like that. Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I would have loved for, it's just like I also fantasize about that. And I also imagine, if I had known and if I hadn't been so programmed and blue pilled, when my children were younger, how it could have made an impact on their life, because then it's like right now when they're, when they're in their careers and while they were in college, they would have known, that they would have had to have followed the curriculum, and they would have had to give, a sufficient answer in order to, get the grades or whatever. But they would have also known in the back of their minds, they would have had that wall would have been torn down to where they wouldn't have just believed everything that they were taught. They would actually dig a little deeper and ask more questions, even if it was on their own times. Like I would have really loved for it to have been different for them. I think that's what I carry the most guilt over. Not so much of myself, believe it, but the impact that it could have made on their lives in a more positive way. But now I do tell them and I do share these things with them, so I know that the seeds are planted, and there are things that I have, that they have responded to me in a positive way. Where when I ask them, I'll ask them certain things. I say, does that really make, like I'll explain to, and I'll ask them, I said, does that really make sense to you? Do you think that, and they're like, no, you do have a point, but then that's where it ends. They don't, or at least with their conversation with me anyway, like it perhaps it doesn't end in their mind. Perhaps they do consider these things and think a little bit more deeply into them or whatever, but it's definitely, being I've had to be very careful. It's been a very touchy process with them because I don't in the beginning of my sharing it with them, I was very adamant about, making sure that they understood that it was the truth. And I wanted them to, to agree with me and to say, yes, mother, it's like, I do see you are, you won't get that. But if you kind of back off and just share some experiences with them and explain something and ask them questions like, how would does this make sense? How would this be possible? Or whatever. And then get them engaged in a very slow process with it, then, you have those seeds planted, and they'll consider it and they'll think about it.
Real quick, I just want to take the moment to introduce Shoddy. I just checked in the VC check-in, who is a Globe believer. So if you guys want to go ahead and ask him 3 questions, I think this would be a good candidate.
Thank you, Creation Bear. Shoddy, do you want to say hello?
Hello guys. My Discord tag is Shoddy. That's not my real name. I don't feel like disclosing my real name for obvious reasons, but yeah, I'm a Globe believer because that's how you guys describe it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can barely hear you. Is there any way that you can maybe get closer to your mic or?
Yeah, Shoddy, I had to turn you up to 200 there, but I heard you come through. So you just have to maybe, if you could work on that on your end, that'd be nice.
I did hear you say though that you were a Globe believer, which is, which is an honest way to put it because so what makes you okay? So thinking about the heliocentric model, just consider it like first. Let me figure out how much you know about it. Like, do you understand the claims that the heliocentric model makes? Like the size of the Earth and the
Size of
movements that they
the-
claim it's making?
Yeah, I understand that.
So okay, so what is the size of the Earth that they claim it is?
Size of the Earth. I believe it is. Well, in terms of radius, because I believe the Earth is a sphere. So in terms of radius, the Earth is 6,371 kilometers in radius.
Well,
We're off to a good start.
What was that?
And we're off to a good start. He knows the numbers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It looks like you've looked somewhat into it.
Yeah.
So during your efforts of looking into it, did you ever find, discover, or run across any actual where they've actually measured it to determine this?
No, but no, I haven't actually seen anything like that. But I believe that there has been a way that scientists or whoever have found out a way to measure the Earth accurately.
You would think that they have, right? If they're telling us.
Yeah.
But it may be surprising for you to know that they haven't. It's never been measured. Curvature of the Earth has never been measured.
Really?
Has.
I'm pretty sure it has.
Well, if you want to find that'd be great. If you could find that and share it with us, that would be great.
Okay, no problem. It's like a pretty long. I can send you the link to the study, or like to the search, if you will, because it's a pretty long like explanation and everything.
Right? Is it a study? What, a study and an explanation? Well, we're actually looking for a measurement.
I can explain. Like it's like a study that shows how we came to find the measurement of the Earth's radius and like how large, how big the Earth is, basically.
Right. Well, when you find that, just let me know, and
Yeah, no
and we'll
It-
discuss it then.
Can you even explain what you're talking about? How they did it instead of things? Can you even explain it?
He said he was going to grab it, I think.
I'd like to know if he understands how they did it.
You had to Google the radius.
Because he's making it sound like he actually knows.
If he's not just parroting Wiki, he can explain it.
I don't know if he lost connection or what, but he's dropped out for now. I'm sure he'll be back.
Can I mention really quick? Hello, ladies. Matter of fact, no, I'm not going to mention. I'm just going to post in the chat.
Hello, Eli. And just so you know, you were coming in extremely low too, Elijah. Well, I was hoping that the dude would be back, that he just dropped out, but it looks like I wasn't trying to come across too combative with him. That's why I wanted him to try to find it himself and bring it, and then we could discuss what he found that he believed would have been a measurement, and we could have went from there.
Sure,
You were,
I would
you were
like him
very
to do
fair
that.
with
I think that was good, but I still want him to be able to see if he could explain it, because just posting, not what it is, doing the same thing everybody else. Should have been at least able to say something about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he's listening on YouTube. Since he's going to be looking for that, I hope that he is listening so that I can, while he's looking for an actual measurement of curvature, he could actually also look into, measurement of axial rotation, demonstration with of gas pressure without a container. And if he also wants to go into the gravity thing, like an actual scientific experiment validating gravity too, like those would be great places to start. And then we could go from there. But maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know.
I hope he does come back and do that. I just don't want him to keep going, no, you're wrong, and not know why he can tell us why we're wrong. Do it if you don't understand what you're posing is the way they did it.
Mild Cheddar, I heard them addressing you earlier, but I was listening in on the YouTube channel and I was like really busy and just in and out of, listening to the conversation. So I'm not really sure where you stand. Would you want to share with us where you stand?
Yeah.
Because I haven't met you, so it's nice to meet you. Welcome to the server.
Yeah.
So, how far have you looked into the topic, and where do you stand with it?
Sorry, I didn't get that last part.
Since I have never met you and since I've never spoken to you, I was just asking, for my own benefit, so that I would know how much have you looked into the topic and where do you stand with it?
Oh, I've looked into mainly just globe stuff, and I'm a globe tard, as you guys refer to us.
Well, I don't.
Not specifically you, just some.
Yeah. But you are so you say that you are adhering to the heliocentric model still?
Yeah, heliocentric.
Okay, so what aspect of it has convinced you that it's true? What part of the heliocentric model have you actually experienced or observed?
First, curvature.
Oh, you've seen curvature?
Haven't seen,
curvature?
experienced.
Oh, you have not? Is that what you said?
I have.
Okay. Where? When? Did you video it or take a picture of it? Where did you experience curvature at? We've been looking for it for many years.
In a plane.
In a plane. Okay, so was it a commercial airline?
No. Private.
So, right. Well, I'm not sure if they use. Well, it depends on how high the plane can go, I guess. Whether or not it would have the same,
Around 10,000 feet.
Structure of the windows. Maybe someone who knows whether or not, what kind of plane was it?
I think it was a Viking. A Viking something.
Okay,
and then
you need anytime that you're in a plane and you're looking out the windows, you're looking through a lens, right? You do understand that the
Yeah.
plane windows are lenses.
Yeah, it does warp partially.
Right. So would you agree that that's not really a good way to establish curvature because it can distort your view?
Well, that's one part. The other part is takeoff and landing. One part at, let's say, 10,000 feet, you can see all around. You can't see curvature. You can't see it curve, but it's a very vast area. You can only see to, and only that, like a big circle. And let's say it's over near like a lake. Let's say Lake Superior, and you're going over in the takeoff. You can only see like part of it, and then midway through your trip, you can only see water, and then when you're exiting, you see the other side. So you're not really. There's no. It's going over. It's not like, oh, just appearing in front of you.
So what would you expect to observe if it were like in your mind, if you expect, if the earth were flat, what would you expect to see?
I wouldn't. If it was flat, I would be able to see farther. First of all, second of all, if I was coming up to it, it'd be gradual, so it would gradually appear, like kind of lifting out of fog. And if it was a globe, I would begin to see the top and then the whole part. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize I was muted when I was responding. But yeah, the view that you're seeing through a plane window, one, like I mentioned, you're looking through a lens, so that will distort, and there are going to be limitations to your vision. That's not going to change regardless of whether the earth is spherical or whether it's flat. You're going to have the same limitations to your vision. That's not going to change. Like I do, and I hear that a lot, which baffles me that people think that, well, if it's flat, then all of a sudden there's not going to be any limitations to my vision. I'm just going to be able to see forever. And that's not the case.
Yeah, you're right. There will be a point where you can't see, but I think you would be able to see farther because, personally, I think the heliocentric model is more accurate. So there'd be a point where there's a curve and you wouldn't be able to see. Because I can see, like, let's say the Eiffel. No, what's that one building in Dubai? The really big one. I'd be able to see that if it was like flat from 10,000 feet, like a pretty long ways away if it was flat.
Have you actually seen the measurements?
Measurements of what?
The Earth measurements. The measurement, like if we're gonna try to determine whether the Earth is curving, and they give us a specific size with a radius of 3,959 miles, would you agree that we should be able to take lasers and measure the Earth? That we could measure the Earth that way?
Those lasers would have to be very powerful.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, it depends on what distance you're going to shoot them at, but and they are. The people have used some pretty powerful lasers, but I'm just wondering, have you, like, I don't know how much information that you've looked at, and that's what I'm asking is, have you seen these measurements? Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of measurements that people have done different. Dr. John Dee did one. Just one second. I have to wait and let it reload, but I'll share with you a laser measurement.
There are laser gyroscopic laser gyroscope measurements done by the Flat Earth Society on Facebook. They paid about $20,000 a documentary about it. Beyond the Curve.
Flat Earth. Okay, so first of all,
Yeah, I know you're not the same people. I know that.
yeah, and they are controlled opposition. Like they just replaced the globe with a flat disk, and all of their claims are ridiculous. None of them have been verified. None of them, and it just further reifies the heliocentric model. So anything that you get, that's a controlled opposition website, and anything that you get from there it's garbage. Like none of it is like just toss it all out. It's just garbage.
Well, don't you guys share some of the same claims too?
Nope.
So
Maybe
the same
because
claim that the Earth is flat.
So wait, just a minute. Maybe because their disk that they put in there and they claim that that's what the Earth is, because the surface of the disk is flat. That might actually be the only thing. Everything else is garbage. No, we don't share any of their views. The Earth isn't moving upward at 9.8 meters per second. It's not a disk. We don't claim shape. It just measures flat on the surface. We don't know what the entirety of the Earth is. We're not claiming a shape. It's not like there's no measurable movement, so it's not revolving around the sun. It's not in this 10 to the negative 17 torr pressure near perfect vacuum of space. Like they just reify the heliocentric model. It's controlled opposition, dude. Everything on there is garbage. And no, we do not share any of their claims. So here's you can grab these up and save them for later and look at them when you have more time if you'd like to. But I'm gonna post a few things for you to grab up. That's Dr. John Dee's laser test, and here's the other video that goes along with it. It's from the other end, and then you can grab this one up also.
Who's this guy? Doctor Who?
The FE Core laser test, Dr. John Dee.
Is he part of the Flat Earth Discord?
He's not. No, he's not in this, but he's a flat earther. He knows that the Earth is flat because he's measured it. I don't know if is he in this server, Drace? Oh, is he? Yeah. Well, I guess he is. I wasn't aware. Well, Drace says that he is, and he's been here before. I didn't hear him, so I wasn't aware.
Why do you think? Because he has doc that gives him more authority?
No, I was just wondering.
Inspector can say it.
So-
I'm not a native English speaker. Photometry, spectrophotometry.
Spectrometry.
Sure, I don't have any audio because I'm listening to this.
Something.
So I also posted. Oh, I was going to say, I posted a link for you as well if you want to see how a laser gyroscope works and understand how it actually shows there is more evidence for flat Earth. I posted a video you can go watch on how that happened. 5:27 p.m.
Yeah, we're posting quite a few links for you if you wanted to grab them up. I've posted Dr. John Dee's laser test from both of those. One's from one end, one's from the other end. And then I posted the FE Core laser test. You can take that one and save it for later and check it out and look at it. And then here is another laser test that people have done. See, here's the thing. When people come into Flat Earth, a lot of these people came into Flat Earth thinking that they would just go out and do these tests and prove that the Earth is a globe, that they would measure the Earth, they would find curvature. But they didn't find curvature. So they do more tests and they never found any curvature. So they became flat earthers because then they realized that not only is the Earth measuring flat and level, but it also, there's also no measurable movement of the Earth either. So then when you start questioning all their claims and you start checking them out, you realize that they don't check out. So grab those up and you can save those and check them out for later. And here's another link. Grab this one too. It's got tons of stuff on it that would help you out. So,
And yeah, just
okay.
What's this 16.4 mile laser thing? What's that supposed to be?
It's just what it says.
Well, it's for the glow trophy.
They shoot a laser 16.4 miles, and they're hitting their target. The Earth isn't dropping away from them.
Are you sure it's hitting a target? Because that laser would have to be like extremely precise. Or
yes,
are you sure you're not just seeing a fraction of the laser beam? Because like as it distance, it spreads out.
You're talking about a collimated light. Yes, they did do that on FC Core. They calculated all of that count.
I know it's not
Did a lot.
It eventually cones out. It's not.
Certainly.
But these lasers, like you can get the lasers. You can get lasers with a collimator on it, which it prevents it from diffusing out, and it allows it to remain focused.
You'll see that the laser beam is much bigger. You could just be seeing a fraction of that.
So do you see what you're doing right now? Like, you're being presented with information that you haven't actually really looked at yet. So I'm sharing it with you so that you can. But even before going into it, do you realize what you're doing? You're already trying to make excuses and explain it away because it's cogniz, right? I mean, you're not wanting to believe that they could be lying to you, and you're wanting to believe that the Earth that the Earth is spherical, even when you're presented with information to the contrary. So you haven't even looked at it yet, and you're already trying to make
There's no
excuses
right
for it.
against that.
Well, I'm just pointing it out to you so that you can have that awareness.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just trying to knock it down, and also like light can bend. It doesn't just like it can bend.
Okay, light travels in straight paths. It can change angles, but it's still once it changes an angle, it still remains like it still travels straight.
The
only way
under certain circumstances.
The only way that you can bend light is if in a controlled system where you use a very strong, powerful electromagnetic force. Like, it has to be extremely strong. There is nothing in nature that is present that bends light. Light, if you're talking about refraction, these people take this into consideration. Dr. John Dee is a PhD in spectroscopy, or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's his study. He specializes in light. Okay, so in the FE core laser tests, they take all of that stuff into consideration. So I would suggest that maybe look at the information really
I'll look
closely.
at the hour and 30-minute video later. I
don't expect you to be able to look at it right now, but
he's an expert in spectrometry. So
spectrometry.
No, yeah.
Say it.
Can you sum up the test for me?
Spectrophotometry.
Spectrophotometry.
Yes. So you really do want to go look at the F core, which is at timestamp 528. And before you make all these arguments against it, you might want to go look at that first. They covered all your arguments. They looked at it through the same eyes that you're trying to disrupt it, because they knew that's what people would do. They knew that. They had to take that into consideration. These are not experiments that were done just on the fly, especially the F core one. You might want to go look before you try to argue against.
And also this what's it called? Oil, the oil thing. You realize those things are hundreds of feet tall.
Okay, so we can. Do you realize? Have you looked at when the Earth should start curving? Like, with the size of the Earth, are you aware of at which point from where you're standing in all directions, according to your height, that it should start curving away from you?
Well, there's other variables too.
Is there a physical horizon or not?
Is there a horizon? Is there a physical horizon in your world or not? Yeah, there's a physical horizon.
I'm asking you, what's a Is it a physical horizon? Do you have a physical horizon with a globe?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Edge
what
of the-
distance would that be at? How would you
I
figure
don't know
that
the
out?
exact numbers.
Okay, well, that's kind of important to know because that would give you something physical that you're trying to see through if you were looking over it, right?
It also depends if you're over water or if you're over land.
Does it? If you have a physical horizon, why would it matter where you are?
So are you?
Because it's level. It could be level or not.
Sure, you want a level place so you can see far enough to maybe get a better glimpse of this curve. Absolutely. But it doesn't change the fact that you have a physical horizon that you have to see at a certain radius, do you not?
So what are you trying to prove? Are you trying to...
I'm not proving anything. I'm asking you a question.
Do I know what the horizon distance is?
No, I'm asking you if you have a physical horizon because you have a globe. How are you going to see
Yeah.
through it? And that means you have to know certain things about your model.
In your view, is the horizon the point at which the Earth begins to curve away from you? Is that the Earth curve? When you see boats disappearing and into the horizon, and where you see the Earth appear to meet the sky, is that Earth curvature?
Yeah. But also...
But also, go ahead and finish. But also what?
Right. Also what?
Well, you said but also, and then you didn't finish. Okay, I'm gonna post a GIF here in the live stream voice text. So here's a boat that appears to disappear into the horizon, but then when you zoom in on it, you can bring it back into view. So it's obviously not going over curvature. So let me explain something to you right quick before we go any further. When they started claiming that the Earth was spherical and that it was curving, like we didn't have Nikon P900s to be able to extend. Who's hot micing? To be able to extend our field of view, right? So it was very easy for them to take perspective, right? To hijack perspective, which is what they've done. Hijack perspective and the limitations of our vision when things start disappearing in and shrinking and disappearing into the convergence point, call it curvature. And be convincing about it. Right. But now
Also the perspective of the camera, if you zoom in, it can bend over the curvature. It's not just fixed in a straight line, it can bend.
Over the curvature. Your vision can bend around a corner if you stand at the what? How do you do that? How do you see beyond a
On a
physical
large scale, you can do it.
on a large?
Have you ever seen like a...
Yeah, that's not
I
what
don't
I'm
have a
saying.
good analogy, but
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it doesn't do that. That's not
it
how.
can.
Okay, well, show me.
How? Oh, and it,
Provide something. Just Jen, you're hot micing. So, can you provide something for us, a citation or something, explaining how? I don't even know exactly. Are you saying that the light bends around the
Yeah.
curvature? And that every time that we zoom into something that appears to disappear, and we're able to zoom into it and bring it back into view, that we're actually looking around
Yeah,
the curve.
well, it says one of the things is Einstein once proposed that light should bend due to gravity. It'd be relative. So, but you guys don't believe in gravity, so apparently I have no evidence, right?
Can you post a citation explaining how light bends around a curve?
Yeah, sure.
proposal is not proof of it. You know that, right? Making up a proposal and then even making equations fit that proposal proves absolutely. And it doesn't even mean it's reality.
So you're claiming that
One
gravity
second, I'm
is
trying to
bending
get the
light
link.
around a curvature. So if you can find a scientific experiment that validates gravity, where they actually manipulated gravity and established that it is even a thing, that would be
Really
great.
manipulate gravity on a small scale. It's just
On any
without
scale,
like a neutron star.
because you have to be able to manipulate it to prove that it is the cause of the effect that you're seeing.
Do you understand? Gravity is it's affected by more mass. So if you have more mass, the more effect it has on gravity.
So you're
Gravity isn't
not talking
created.
about
It's,
Einstein then, right? You're talking about Newton. You're talking about
no,
mass attracting mass.
this is Einstein.
Okay, well, if you can just provide something where they've done a scientific experiment and tested this and validated and proven the cause of the effect that you're seeing, that's what we need.
Whatever. I couldn't get like a direct link, so that's the website. What were we saying before? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
A scientific experiment validating gravity, proving that it is the cause of the effect that you're seeing. Because if you're going to prove that something is the cause of the effect that you're seeing, you need to be able to manipulate that variable. If you can't manipulate that variable, then you can't validate that it is the cause of the effect that you're seeing.
You can't manipulate Earth's gravitational field. It's just that you need like the sun or the moon or like that. You just can't do it on a small scale.
You can't do it at all.
Yeah, if you can't manipulate it, then you can't establish that it is the cause. You can't.
Well, if there was a meteor that was 1,000 times the size of Earth that like went by, the Earth would
now you're
probably go off course.
Listen, like you sound really young to me. You sound really young to me. I want to go back here. I want to go back to the curvature first, and I want to show you and establish to you that there's not any curvature. Then we can go into these other things, because I mean, you're not going to be able to find an experiment that validates gravity. I already know this. You can go ahead and look for it. When you think that you've got it, you can share it with us. But are you looking in the live stream voice text?
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that last part. My Wi-Fi is not the best.
Yeah, you can continue looking for the validation for gravity, but you're not going to be able to find it. And you sound
You saying
young to me,
like
so I kind of want to take it to the basics and kind of step through this one thing at a time, right? So back to the curvature. If you want to try to claim that light bends around a curve, then you will have to provide something to back that up with. We will need some kind of evidence that is what's happening. But here is an observation that is not like, this isn't a laser test, right? So you're not even talking about a laser. So if you want to look into the live stream voice text.
I'm in there.
All right, if you want to click on that picture right there, I can step through with you. If the Earth were a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, and your observer height is 1 foot, according to their own calculations, at 1 foot observer height, the Earth should, and it has to, it must, if it is a sphere that size, it must start curving at 1.225 miles away if you're at a 1 foot observer height, right? The horizon can appear to be shorter, but it can never, if it is a sphere of that size, it can never appear to be further. So if you want to click on that and tell me where you see the horizon, which is the point at which the Earth appears to meet the sky.
Well, you guys also showed me a previous example by zooming in on the camera, showing a ship. This is probably the same thing here, because I don't think you'd be able to see it from that. So, yeah, it's kind of contradicting.
No, dude, the reason I showed you the thing about the boat is because you said that you believed that when boats disappeared, that they're going over the curvature.
Yeah.
And logically, like I would have expected you, I'm really surprised that you didn't, to come to the conclusion that if you're able to bring it back in, if you're able to zoom in on it and bring it back into view, that it's not going over a curve.
Well, the light's bending.
light. Just like it can be reflected like a mirror.
Why would the zoom make the light bend? Why isn't the light bending before you zoom?
Well, I mean, what? Bending before what?
I mean, what's making you do you believe in Einsteinian or Newtonian? I'm like, what is going on here? Why would the light be bending?
Yeah, I've tried to explain it to him in so many different ways, but I don't.
Well, you guys don't think gravity is real, so apparently my point
Well,
isn't
it's never
valid.
been
So.
validated. That's why I asked you.
Well, it has.
Okay, well then shut
Einstein, you're
up.
saying someone who graduated high school at 15.
What's the scientific experiment that validated
I
gravity?
did. Oh my god. Well,
No, you did not.
Let's do a simple Google search then.
Google's not going to tell you anything, dude.
You're a kid that thinks he has all the answers that we didn't go through ourselves to get to this point. You're incorrect. We actually did the research to know what we actually believe, or actually not just believe, we know. See, you think it's the belief that we don't believe in gravity, don't believe in. No, we actually did exactly what you're doing because we didn't think it was true either when we were first presented with this. So you make a very large assumption that people don't have the intelligence to go and check what they actually think they know.
It's like even the mainstream says that Earth's gravity can't bend light enough to be noticeable.
Well, mainstream of people aren't very into science. No wonder
Doesn't
there's
help you
not a
to appeal
billion
to
scientists.
authority. You're appealing to authority because somebody has behind their name. You think everybody here doesn't have those same things, by the way. You're making that assumption, but you're also assuming that the letters behind your name make it can't think for yourself and go and search
here's a
and
simple-
learn these. Are you hearing me, man?
Yeah, I am
You
hearing
are
you.
making
Sorry to cut
a
you off.
lot. You are making a lot of assumptions about not only our intelligence, the fact that we've actually looked, and we expect you to go and look and not just claim, "Oh, here's my Google search," but not even tell us what experiment did they do? How did it come out? How did they do the experiment? And do you even know what the definition of experiment is?
I can do a simple test. I think Bill Nye did it.
I'm not asking you for a test. I'm not asking you for that observation. I'm asking you what an experiment is.
It is an experiment. Prove that
What is
gravity is a thing.
Experiment. What
So
is an
that then
experiment?
You drop a bowling ball and an apple together, and they fall the same
that's-
rate.
That's not an
Use it.
experiment. Again, you
Yeah,
don't
it
know
is.
what the definition of an experiment is. No, young man, you
Yeah,
actually don't.
They had variables and
Specifically, what do they need to? Number one, what do you need? Start. Tell me what an
control.
experiment is. What are the parts of the experiment?
Dropping a bowling ball on an apple is an observation.
Yeah, you have a hypothesis, and then some other things, and then you make up.
You don't even know what an experiment is.
I'm sorry, I don't know
Oh.
off the top of my head. I've done
you can
like
Google it. You can Google it. Right?
Fine,
You Googled all this other stuff.
because Google is smarter than me. Knows
Didn't
everything.
say that. You're smart.
Google never lies.
Right? No, didn't say that. I said I asked you for a definition of what an experiment is and what it has to have. This is basic science that you get taught, hopefully in any basic college first year course, but also even in high school. Elementary even starts there. So what does an experiment have? Validate. That's the problem. You came into the room expecting us to not know these. When you don't even know what a basic experiment requires, you can explain how to prove this stuff or validate.
Sorry, my mom was calling me. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Experiments have independent, dependent variables. So.
What do they absolutely must have?
I mean, You have to use a scientific method.
We think about
You have to begin with the first part. What?
Yeah, hypothesis.
So that is absolutely required. So you hypothesis then fulfills the rest of the requirements of the experiment. You got nothing.
You asked me for that first part. Oh my god. It doesn't matter if I know what an experiment is. If the
No, it
experiment is
does,
as simple as
because
dropping a
if they
bowling ball and
didn't-
an apple, I don't think I know what the heck happens. They drop at the same rate and they hit the.
No, you know what you observe. You don't know the cause. You don't know the cause. You know what you observe.
Yeah, I do, because gravity.
No.
Different
See,
density.
that's the problem. Again, you don't know what caused that. There are multiple mediums that you
do.
could have been in when you dropped it. And you don't know the effects of that. You are not controlling your variables. You don't know that.
So
you cannot make a claim of cause
how to
until
control
you
variables.
control. Stop. You have not come up with a hypothesis, explanation, and experimentation that proves gravity. What do you have to do to prove gravity? You would have to isolate. You can't do it.
I can. Literally,
Really?
here's my hypothesis.
Physicists
okay?
around here have never been
My
able to do that.
hypothesis is that if I drop a
She
ball,
got out there for a minute, but she was trying to tell you that you need to isolate and manipulate.
my
the thing that you're proving is
hypothesis
the cause of it.
is
So
that
where,
they will
at which
hit
point did they
and
isolate it and
fall
manipulate
at
it?
the same rate.
Young man, stop.
What?
Listen carefully. Unless you can control your variables and manipulate them, you cannot tell us what gravity is. You can't do that. Try to
Can I
design
tell
an
you my
experiment.
whole-
You don't. You can tell me all you want, but you seem to think you're the first one to come up with a question that has been already asked multiple times by all of us, and that you're going to somehow come up with a new one that figures out everything that everybody else has figured out to prove gravity. First, you're going to have to validate gravity, and you're going to have to come up with an experiment that can actually do that. And so far, none of us have been able to find. What makes you think you're going to be able to give us one right now? I mean, you can try.
I'll try. Okay. So, is that if I drop my hypothesis is that they will fall at the same rate, drop when they're dropped at the same time, and do the experiment. Find out they fall at the same rate, different densities.
No,
hit the ground.
you didn't give me
I'm
your
not- hey,
variable.
Let me tell you my variables. First, my variable is that they're different weights, and my control is two steel balls next to each other, and also I will not be dropping them with my hand. I'll be dropping them by a lever. So I'll have a platform, and I'll drop the lever, and I'll drop them at the same time, and I'll record it 3 times, make sure it's accurate, and then those are my results.
What is your independent variable?
What are variable?
Your independent variable is it?
Yeah, my nylon ball,
And how is that going to tell you anything about gravity?
because they're different densities. Because you guys think
Oh,
of
density.
relative density.
No, we don't think anything. You're an assumption. We asked you for an experiment, so don't go on to what we think. We're asking you for your experiment that can validate gravity. So far, what's your independent variable again?
Basic.
And I'm going to ask you what the next variable is.
Air pressure.
No. What's your
Altitude
independent
and
variable?
lower.
And then what's your dependent variable? You need to tell me
The
both of
steel
those
ball.
things. And how does that tell you anything about gravity again?
As relative density.
keep saying density.
Density.
Where's your gravity in this experiment? What
Earth,
variable is it?
1G.
What variable is it fitting? Where is it in your experiment? So far,
Where
you've
is
given
what
me
in my
density. So far, you've given me density and nylon balls and a steel ball. No variable, dependent variable that includes anywhere. I don't
told
hear
you.
gravity.
Steel
No,
ball.
I don't hear gravity. You're testing for gravity. How do you
Yeah.
do an experiment to test for something you actually claim exists? Gravity.
Light bending also. You can take a laser,
No, nothing
shoot
to
at
do
the
with light.
horizon, see if it
Again,
bends. Oh my
nothing
gosh,
to
it
do with
does.
light, young man. Nothing to do with light.
Well,
Your
light's affected by
experiment needs to
gravity.
include the thing that you are actually investigating, gravity. Where does gravity fit in?
Give me an example where flat Earth is proven by you.
Oh, you can't ask that question. We're stuck on your claim that gravity exists, that you can make an experiment that works with this and prove gravity that like no other physicist has been able to. So, young man, stick with the point. Try to throw it back in my face. You came here, your assumption, and your claim, and yet you can't even make an experiment that would test gravity.
Gravity experiment. Does the Earth revolve around the sun? Yes.
You can
So-
claim that. Prove it.
Well, I've seen it.
You've seen it, really.
Yeah. I've lived more
You've
than a
seen
year.
it. Really. Seen gravity rotating around the Earth. How is that different than anybody else
how?
here? How is that different than anybody else? Same things. Not see it.
Oh, so you just said that everyone else experienced the same thing. I guess flat Earth
Yeah.
isn't a thing.
Have you experienced the curving Earth? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Where?
Airplane.
Really? You think you've seen it at 36,000 feet?
10.
Oh, you thought you saw it at 10.
I said experienced, actually.
You experienced. What does that mean?
Oh my god. I've said this like 3 times, but I'll say it again. Just for you. So, take off. Only I can see as far as I can see out to the horizon. Just a town and a lake. Midway through the trip, I see just a lake. Nothing else. Just water. And then
You
I come
observe a
back at
curve.
the end of the trip at landing. Oh my gosh. Part lake, part landing strip.
Are you claiming you observed a curve at 10,000 to
The gradual curve.
really? You saw a gradual curve.
And at the speed I was going, it was consistent.
That
And it
couldn't
was over
happen
water,
because
too.
the world is actually plane is, flying over plane. That couldn't happen. That you didn't actually occur. You just assume that you're seeing it.
No, I could see buildings popping up. And lighthouses.
And that proves a curve, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that
How is it
Neil
not?
deGrasse Tyson says that no curve is available to even you at 40,000 feet?
I can't see the curve, but gradually I can see a difference.
Gradually, you
over a
can see a
lake.
difference. So you can see the perspective change, just like we normally do on a flat Earth when you move direction, like towards a mountain.
not that
You can
hard.
see your perspective change, but that means that there's a curve, right? To you.
Yeah.
Then measure it.
Yeah,
and prove
my
it and
whole
give me
family's experienced it. Anyone on a plane has too.
So
actually, nobody has seen a curve. They've
I
seen
never
the
have.
progression over the plane, just like everybody else has. There is no change in horizon other than flat level horizon. Where have you seen this thing that isn't any different than traveling in a distance that's perspective?
Because you're higher up.
That changes
Because
it?
you can see more.
Really? So where again did you see this?
Part. Mic check, mic check.
I can hear you.
What was the last part? I didn't catch it.
Again, I'm trying to figure out where you think you saw a curve.
He's
I
not
experienced a
thinking.
curve.
He's not thinking about it right now. He's just arguing for it. He's not even like he doesn't even want to look at
Are you
the
assuming
information
my
that answers.
standpoint on what I'm
No,
trying
I
to
don't
do?
have to. I don't have to assume, man. You've demonstrated that because when you're presented with the evidence, you go straight for making excuses and explanations without even looking at it, without even considering it. It's like you're not even examining it right now. You're just arguing, from a place of ignorance at this point.
Thanks.
Is there anyone
Do
else?
you guys know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is?
Yeah. That's like I'm not calling you ignorant or I'm not calling you a name. I'm just, pointing out the facts.
The information is.
You're giving us all the clues that you don't understand perspective at all. If you drive across the road or fly in a plane, things in the distance appear smaller from the distant view, and they gradually grow larger as towards. I mean, that doesn't prove a curve. Well, also, you never said you the curve. You kept saying you got things that were popping up over the horizon. Well, your view, again, is how far at that. It's all dependent on a number of factors you're not considering. Can't see forever.
Yeah. Obviously,
You're claiming that people can see. You're claiming people can see a curve. With numbers of people who are physicists, since you trust so much, have said that is impossible. But yet somehow you can't.
Say what was impossible?
To see a curve at less than 125,000, 140,000. Yeah. Don't say,
I
oh my
never
gosh,
said
that's the claim of the
the
physicist.
curve.
You're
I said I
claiming
could
you're
experience a gradual curve.
really,
There's
you
a
feel
big
it curving
difference.
over something. Feel it curving. See, if you don't see it with your eyes, you're not see it with your eyes. You're not seeing a curve. But you're saying you're experiencing it, so it means you're feeling something that associates with your inner ear, I assume. That nobody else can. They don't feel that. Nobody feels flying over a curve. There's nobody else that I've ever
Deny
heard.
gravity.
No, we don't deny anything.
Well, you said that gravity isn't real.
We know what we can prove, not prove. Experiment.
Well, have you ever done gravity tests?
Matter?
Because if you haven't, there's no reason not to. Because if you're not going to do the test, then you can't just deny it.
You think I haven't taken physics? See, that's the funny part. You think you haven't. Think you're the only one that's done physics or something. I don't understand this.
Does that seem logical to you that you believe? Okay, so that you're supposed to believe in something, believe in everything until you can prove it's not true? Isn't it the other way around? I mean, to think logically, you should only accept those things that have been proven to you. Like you prove it first. You don't
do only accept things that are
until you can
validated.
disprove it.
Wrong. We accept things that follow the experimental rules that I asked you to make an experiment of, and you could not do it. You could not come up with an experiment for gravity.
Whatever, you guys.
Not whatever.
He just killed himself.
Is there anybody else to talk
Wrong.
to?
I'm still here.
Is there anybody else besides him?
Oh no, but you dug your hole really, really hard.
I don't dig holes.
Yes, you
yeah,
did.
you dig it. You dug it really, really deep here, so you don't even know where you are.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know what
I'm on a globe Earth.
No, you actually
say
don't.
people can feel a curve while
We're done with
flying in a
him.
plane that isn't having experience
please
of
move on to someone
nosing down. So, young man,
Someone else, please.
yeah, man, I think you need to go do some and learn how to put together an experiment in the correct way, and then try to come back and maybe you might be able to talk to us. But don't come here expecting us to act like we can't tell that you think we're stupid, or don't haven't experimented ourselves, or have degrees, or just assuming a bunch of stuff like you do, leave a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to get anywhere when he started making explanations. When he had, he admitted that he hadn't seen the laser test. Then you show him to him, and then he starts making explanations and excuses without even looking at it. So, I mean, at that point, I knew it wasn't.
Didn't he just say to us we didn't look at any of the explanations like that? This is so two-faced.
No, he comes in here with the explanation. expectation that we are a bunch of idiots, and he's smarter than these adults that are in here, and we're a bunch of stupid people. That's exactly the attitude I'm picking up the whole entire.
Yeah, he needs to listen for a while.
I gotta say that was dealt with really well, though. You had kept him on topic so well. I was just like applauding you over here.
Hard, but don't want him to go away rage, putting get him to think through it, know why he isn't being able to get anywhere.
Well, if he's not ready for it, if he doesn't want to actually look at it, he's not ready for it. He's not going to listen. Then
No,
of course he's not.
but maybe someday he'll come back to in his mind and think, "Gee, I should have come back at him with all this other ways of being correct, knowing what I'm actually talking, knowing even what an experiment is as the base of all of it, the basis."
It wasn't a rage quit, more so a cognitive dissonance quit.
Yeah.
He just ran headfirst into the wall, and he couldn't get around that.
Yeah, but it definitely might leave something to think. I did want to say thanks for a great ladies' night, but it's 16 hours since I got up, so I'm gonna start getting cozy. But thanks so much for having me, and good job, ladies.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Karma. It's always a pleasure to have you around.
Same truth. Thanks for also reminding me so I didn't forget.
All right, no problem. Hey, I remembered. I remembered a couple hours before. It's like that's like first time ever. I don't know if I ever have remembered it before. So it's like
Yeah,
I
good
asked you
job.
guys to
I
remind me
totally
too.
forgot.
If you remember it beforehand, like in the weeks to come, just to remind me to the same. But it was
guys.
good to have you. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
same.
night.
Sleep good.
But we have BR loudly PT, whatever. I don't even know. Mr. Loud, I see you're VC verified. I haven't spoken to you yet. I don't know if anyone else has, but you mind to share with us how you found us, what brought you here, and how much you've looked into the topic? And maybe he's away from his mic. Anyone else?
I know there's a couple of people in the chat that are going back. They don't want to.
24/7 live stream too, as well.
Yeah, that's
Anybody
what I'm
chatting in
saying.
there?
If you got a different mic, Justin.
I just talked softer.
It sounds like a different mic.
I can talk like this too, if you want me to.
Okay, Joe Biden.
But it's pretty
probably not a good idea.
Black Swan.
We should have a day where everybody has to whisper. No, that would.
That would be fun.
It definitely would be funny. It's like if you don't whisper, you get muted.
You can't get over a certain octave.
That actually would be hilarious. Everybody would be muted.
We should have a bot that programs that.
I don't even know if you could hear me if I whispered.
So I'm gonna guess that nobody found the curve again. Because you're still here.
No, we found somebody that can experience it like nobody else.
And from 10,000 feet too.
Experience it though, not see it, feel it.
Oh, that's new.
That was
Well,
new. I hadn't
okay.
heard anybody try to claim they could feel it. So I asked him if he could
feel the
see
curve.
it.
Did he say he could feel the curve?
He said he could
said that.
experience. And I asked him specifically, so you're feeling it, right? Yeah. You know, that's what he wouldn't answer when I say you can see it multiple times. Can you see it? No, I'm not. I can experience it. So the only other way you could experience feel, and he said because he flew at 10,000 feet over the distance, kept seeing things pop up over the horizon. That was an experience that didn't involve vision. So I don't know. Whatever that meant to me, that sounds like he didn't physically, he was claiming he physically experienced something, but it didn't include vision.
Well, he's young. The more he hangs around, it's like if he hangs around long enough, it'll all click, and you know, maybe he'll. I don't know. We can hope, right? I mean, he's seeing the information, he's getting it, so seeds are being planted. He's just young. You know, he thinks, he literally, firmly and adamantly believes in what he's been taught.
And he absolutely believes he knows more. He was very confident that he knew more than any adult.
I love that confidence in those kids.
When he said he can see, he should be able to see the Dubai Tower. Was he talking about seeing the Dubai Tower like from U.S.?
I'm not sure.
He was pretty clear. He said, I should be able to see that Dubai Tower. It's pretty tall. Like, from how far?
Yeah, he's right. You should be able to, but physics says no.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him in a
Exactly.
way. I mean, because you know that he just believes it because he's been taught that, and he can't fathom that they would lie to him, and it's obvious that he hasn't really looked into it.
That dude needs space forever. Space
Well,
is a must.
he looked into the Flat Earth Society, so he did say that right off the bat.
Yeah,
So
you did do that. Yep, you're right.
You have a glober.
So he says that 127,851 feet, that is the highest skydive, or drive, as he put it in his sentence, but I'm pretty sure dive, and can clearly see the curve.
it's not what the physics
Thought you
said
couldn't see it from that height. I'm confused.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just believes it. So maybe if he just hangs around and listens, I mean, he can just listen. He can listen, and maybe he'll actually examine the information more closely and question it. Like, if you have a belief, if you are secure about your belief, you should be able to question it without any concerns or any worries, right? And you should be able to question it. And if you do that, then you'll know, you'll see that it's not true.
Okay,
so
so
we can move on to someone else.
I got it. Okay, so he posted this link, and it's the Felix Baumgartner jump from Google.
to watch through the whole thing and explain to me why. I can see the video.
That's what he's seeing, curve right there. He's
Yeah,
just
if he
seeing
watches
curve
the
right
whole
there.
video, though, when they open the door to the capsule, it's immediately not a curve.
I'm gonna post the full
And
video.
New Mexico happens to be the size of
post it
what?
all the time.
And that makes the Earth a very strange Earth if that's the size of Earth with that amount of bird.
I just do this.
It's called a
I
fish
post-
island.
I post the video right at the minute marker that shows him as the camera is inverted. Of course, the curve is inverted. So press play and you see that's not a curve. That's the camera making the curve.
Yeah. Another picture, even in the list of pictures he showed us that have absolutely no
So
curve.
mild, you can't say that was a curve of an Earth, because that is actually curving of the lens.
Well, I'll unmute him and let him respond if you want me to. Do you want to unmute him?
Getting that inside the gondola, the Earth was
Let's see what he has to say.
straight inside the gondola.
Hey, mild, would you mind clicking on the Felix Baumgartner from YouTube, the one that is the full version. I put it at 4 minutes because at 4 minutes you actually get to see the camera curving the Earth.
And you're unmuted, by the way. Mild chitter.
Oh, okay.
You've been listening to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord 2.0. We hope you're having a fantastic day on this flat and stationary plane. If you too would like to join the debate, please click the link below. We'll see you there.
We've evaluated quite thoroughly. You're going to see camera does not remain curved and the different angles. Again,